Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard to tonight's Thanksgiving Eve historic competition between our very own Griswold Wolverines and the Panthers of Plainfield. Pastor Josh here from Quinnebog River Church, along with my co-host Sean Anderson, broadcasting tonight's competition live from Plainfield, Connecticut. The boys have been on the field warming up in this frigid, chilly, windy temperatures. Of course, tonight's game was moved to tonight over tomorrow because as cold as it is tonight, it's relatively balmy compared to tomorrow's forecast. So, hey, we're glad to be with you here tonight on Thanksgiving Eve. Sean, say hello to everybody, and let's do a little pregame coverage.
Sounds good.
So, Sean, I see that you have some notes there. You've been working hard prepping for tonight's game. Talk to us about the Wolverine and the Panther record for this year and what we might expect from tonight's competition.
Well, Griswold comes into this game 5-4, and Plainfield comes into this game 8-1. Griswold is 3-1 on the road and 2-3 at home, and Plainfield is undefeated at home. Both teams tend to run the same style of offense. They run the double wing. But I was looking at the scores, and both Griswold and Plainfield played similar teams. Both of them played Killingly, Waterford, I believe. No, they played Montville, Wyndham, Bacon, and Amistad. And Griswold put up more points against those teams than Plainfield did. So if you look at it like that, Griswold might actually surprise some people because it would be an upset if you look at the records.
Sure,
it would definitely be considered an upset.
Wolverines coming in tonight 5-4 is their overall record, and of course the Panthers, as you mentioned, are 8-1. Interestingly enough, as your pregame analysis showed, of the 5 common opponents that they have had together this year, they've only lost once, and that common opponent was?
Killingly.
There you go. First game of the season for Plainfield this year was a loss on the road versus the Killingly Redmen. I don't remember the score. Do you have it there in front of you?
Yeah,
it was a blowout.
Plainfield lost 49-6. I was at that game. I think they skipped a quarter in that game. It went by really quickly.
The mercy rule was enacted after the third quarter,
yeah.
And so that fourth quarter did go quickly. And what was our score against Killingly?
Well, Griswold actually kept it close for the first half.
We did.
But they lost 48-23. So both teams gave up about the same amount of points. But Griswold put up more points than Plainfield did.
Yes, sir.
And
they absolutely did.
Killingly is a tough team. I mean, of course, Killingly had packed stands because they were at home. Killingly was. And Griswold played Killingly while they were at home.
Right.
So
it should be an interesting matchup tonight.
Definitely.
Of course, the story of the evening is that because of Plainfield's record, tonight is a potential playoff winning berth for them. If they come home tonight with a W, that means they'll be going on to more football this season and playoff action, postseason playoff action. Wolverines, tonight's the night.
Yes.
This is it. This is the final game of the Wolverines season for 2018. And then we'll be moving on to the basketball season. So last year it was a similar setup where Plainfield was in the playoff hunt, and Griswold came back in dramatic fashion at home and took the playoff chances away from Plainfield. So we'll see what happens here tonight.
And then the year before that, in 2016, Plainfield shut out Griswold 28-0.
That's correct.
So we'll see what happens. It should be a very interesting game. We had some snow earlier. It doesn't look like it coated the field. The field might be a little wet, but it doesn't look like there's any snow coating or anything on there.
So what do you think the big challenges are going to be tonight for the Wolverines regarding the weather?
Well, Griswold has to hold on to the football. They struggled with it last week against Trumbull. Of course, it was in the pouring rain.
Yeah,
but
it was a mud bowl.
I went to the practice session yesterday, and they had some fumbles in practice.
Yeah.
So holding on to the football and limiting the turnovers is going to be key for Griswold tonight.
Sure. The conditions are not going to be favorable to that just because it is a little wet, it is a little slippery, it is very chilly, it is windy tonight. So, you know, when your hands are exposed to the wind, they're going to get cold very quick. So I imagine that whether you be the quarterback or the receiver or running back, holding on to the football tonight is going to be a challenge. That being said, watching the pregame coverage here in the warm-ups, I'm seeing both of these teams throwing the ball very aggressively. So we'll see what happens. Of course, there's a big historic matchup on Monday Night Football where it was offense, offense, with very little, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, which is the historic Wolverine attack mode. One of the questions I'll be looking forward to see tonight is our offensive line, which is also our defensive line, comprised of our captains this year, has done an amazing job with creating time for a quarterback and also pushing against the defense to create lanes for that running game. We'll see if they're going to be able to horse their way around the Plainfield Panthers like they've been able to some of the other opponents tonight. Like you said, 4 other times we've played common teams, we put up more points than the Panthers did.
I think the one exception to that was Craig. Plainfield put up a touchdown more.
We struggled against Craig.
Yes.
We really did. We were losing at the half at that game. That was a very odd outing for us. Of course, that was on an artificial turf field as opposed to a natural turf field. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. Who knows?
Right.
Well, either way, folks, it's great to have you on board tonight. Hopefully you will be able to join us and that you heard about the change in time. Not a change in venue, but a change in time because of the frigid conditions anticipated for tomorrow. So game time temperature right now is right around freezing. We did have a snow squall move through here about 20 minutes or so ago, and there's a good 5 to 10 knots of wind coming through the field as well. But the grandstands are filling up. Everybody is bundled. Everybody's grabbing their hot chocolate and coffee to survive the next 4 quarters of high school football. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go to an advertisement, and then we'll be coming back with the coin toss, captain's lineup, and then, of course, the kickoff for tonight's historic competition. It's as old as time, folks. It's the Wolverines versus the Panthers, and we'll be right back in a couple of minutes. You're listening to Griswold High School Football right here on Wolverine Radio. And welcome, Wolverine fans. It's Pastor Josh PJ here with Sean Anderson live on the road. We're here with Wolverine Radio, getting ready to broadcast tonight's epic season-ending competition for the Wolverines, potentially season-ending for the Plainfield Panthers. Just under 4 minutes until kickoff. The refs are out on the field. The captains will be joining them shortly for this evening's coin toss and will determine the initial possession of the game. So glad you could join us tonight as we are preparing for Thanksgiving tomorrow. Of course, the game tonight is tonight because of the anticipated miserable conditions tomorrow, and by miserable I mean freezing cold. However, tonight, even though it's freezing here, if you're not able to join us in Plainfield, you can join us online. Go to the Facebook page for Wolverine Radio, click on the link for our YouTube page, and you can watch live video coverage of tonight's competition provided by the amazing Kyle Gunderman. from the Griswold High School. He's got his camera set up, and honestly, folks, it's the best seat in the house. So find us on Facebook, click on that link, and join this while live coverage with continuing Wolverine radio coverage of every minute of action here in Plainfield, where it's windy and cold, but you know what it's not? It's not tomorrow.
Yes. It's going to be freezing tomorrow. And this change came at the last minute.
It did.
There was some talk that they could move it to Saturday, but then if Plainfield won, they'd have to play on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it would give them 2 days to practice, which is why they came up with the less than 24 hour until the game change.
If I understand it correctly, a lot of schools are opting to play their
Yes.
games tonight rather than tomorrow because of the anticipated single digits, if not negative temperatures.
Yeah, with the wind chill.
Right. So I got to tell you right now, though, even though the temperature is a relatively balmy 30-some-odd degrees, with the wind, it's pretty chilly here tonight.
Yes, definitely. Even up in the booth where they have 2 giant heaters keeping us warm. It's
It
still
is
very
nice
cold.
in the booth.
Yes. Still a little cold, though. Of course, we have the window open. 34
degrees is the temperature on the field. With the wind chill, it's cooler than that, which we do think will be a factor tonight with, as we mentioned during our first pregame coverage, that minimizing unanticipated turnovers is going to be an important skill for the Wolverines to master tonight. And with the temperatures and the wind and the damp conditions, that is going to be a challenge for them.
It is going to be a challenge, and it's going to be a challenge for Plainfield, too. Both teams, this ball is going to be very slippery. It just snowed, so some of the footballs that they used in practice, or in warm-ups, excuse me, are going to be wet. They have to dry them off really well, and that field's still wet, and it's just going to get muddier. It's a little muddy around midfield, a little muddy pretty much everywhere in spots.
They must not have played at home last weekend
Yes.
because this field looks amazing compared to what we did to
it does.
our home field last
Definitely.
week. It's probably still in rough shape from last week's competition.
Yeah, the last game Plainfield they played against Wyndham, and Wyndham only lost 6-0.
Okay.
So it was a close game, but that's because of the wind. It was a close game for Griswold, too, 2 weeks ago when they played Trumbull, and they lost, 14-6, I think it was?
You can see the coverage on our YouTube channel here at Wolverine Radio. Here comes the Plainfield Panthers as they're charging through the spirit line set up by their cheerleaders. Plainfield Panthers are coming to the near side of the field, and the Wolverines are already gathered on the far side of the field. And so, of course, the Panthers are coming out amped up to play tonight because if they win, they go on to postseason action, and if they lose, they stay home and wish they won. So big game tonight for the Panthers. Last year, similar situation was in front of the Panthers, and the Wolverines were able to deliver the win and end the Plainfield Panthers season during the regular season. So a lot on the line tonight. We're looking for a good game, a big game. Of course, last year's victory was a lot of fun to watch. And, of course, 2 years ago right here, we got skunked.
Yes.
So we're hoping for a much better performance tonight from our Wolverines. We've got a great crew this year. One of the things that we've seen this year that's just been amazing is the effort of our captains, who have done a great job on the offensive line as well as defensively. And can't say enough about Koziel, our quarterback. He continues to learn and grow. It's just amazing how the first game this year, we were able to watch him on the road, just how he has matured in the pocket, making smart throws. He's always been an accurate passer with a strong arm, but earlier in the year, he was a little more ready to throw into heavy traffic. It turned into more interceptions, and he's matured his way through that to where now, when he throws the ball, he does a very nice job, and I know this comes at a price to him. He's more willing to take the sack or to scramble than he is to throw the ball into heavy traffic, and we've just seen that change since our opening game in September just a few months ago.
He's definitely coming into his own.
Big time.
Really starting to develop really nicely.
So here come the respective captains out to the middle of the field. They're meeting with the refs where the coin toss is going to ensue. And then once we determine the possession and who receives the ball at the opening minutes of the first quarter, we'll, of course, have the national anthem. And then we'll be underway here at Plainfield High School.
So Plainfield has, for their captains, they only have 2. Connor Peasley, number 34, and Kyle Holt, number 21, are the captains for Plainfield. Captains for Griswold.
18, 50, 56, and 57.
Yep. That's Patrick Strain. Number 50 is Steven Sims. You say 57, that is Johnny Falco. And it looks like, is that number 50?
Yes, sir.
I think I mentioned him already, Steven Sims.
Yep.
I
The
missed
ref
one.
is displaying the quarter to number 50 and number 21 for the Panthers. Steven Sims, and coin toss will be coming here in just a second. Now that he's explained how this is going to work, the coin went up, the coin went down. The choice goes to Plainfield. And Plainfield wins the toss, and they're going to receive the ball in the second half. So the Wolverines are going to have a chance to come out here and give the offense a chance to put some points on the board in the opening minutes of the game.
Yeah, I know some teams, like the New England Patriots in the NFL, they look at that as a bad thing. They want the ball coming out at the second half. So it should be interesting. This might not be a bad thing, though, for Griswold if they can score on their first drive.
Handshakes at midfield, and of course the big question is going to be, I'm looking at a large roster here for Plainfield, but it looks like it's a pretty even matchup as far as physical size goes, which is a special treat for the Wolverines. It's not often that we match up against players that are similar size. Usually we are outsized,
right?
But we've done a great job this year of defending our own and pushing the ball forward. So that's going to be my big question here in just a few moments after the national anthem, is can the offensive line give the time to Koziel that we know he needs to make those decisions and move that ball forward. So we have the Plainfield chorus here, and we are going to have the singing of the national anthem. Join us for the national anthem right here in Plainfield, Connecticut. Well, Sean, it's game time. We've had the coin toss. Griswold will be receiving the kickoff here in just a moment. We are, of course, broadcasting live from Plainfield from the Griswold Pride broadcast booth. This is PJ Pastor Josh with my co-host for the evening, Sean Anderson. As the chorus is making its way off the field, we're going to see the boys take the field for the opening kickoff of tonight's epic Thanksgiving Eve annual traditional competition between the Wolverines and the Panthers. Someone will have to remind me how many years this game has been played. I know
well,
that
we have the trophy right behind us
here.
It looks like 1937, is it?
That is a long time, folks. Doesn't look like it was played every year since 1937, but that is a long-standing tradition, which of course we are enjoying tonight as well. Tonight's game moved up because of the frigid forecast for tomorrow. Wolverines are on the field now getting ready to receive the kickoff from the Plainfield Panthers.
Panthers will defend the north goal. Griswold will receive and defend the south goal.
Number 5 is back for the Wolverines to receive tonight's kickoff.
Logan Chappelle, and it looks like, is that number 21 or 24?
I believe it's number 24.
24, that is Isaiah Haikila?
Yeah, Isaiah Haikila. That's a new name for us. It might be Devin Chaikow. We'll see here. It is. Sure enough, it's Devin Chaikow. It's number 21. So Logan Chappelle picks the ball up at our own 6 or 7 yard line. He's running towards the near side of the field and is forced out of bounds. So the Wolverines are going to take over on downs at the opening drive of the game from right around their own 20-yard line after about a 10 to 12-yard return by Devin Chaikow.
Both teams a little chippy on that return.
That doesn't surprise us, does it?
No, not at all.
Well, like you're saying earlier this week, the boys were practicing a lot of shotgun formations offensively, which of course is a big change to the traditional offense, which they've been running for a number of years now. Let's see how they come out tonight. At the line of scrimmage is Koziel. Chris Thibodeau in motion with a straight-ahead run right up the middle for a gain of a few yards. It's going to bring up second and 6 or 7 yards remaining for the Wolverines.
Looks like Matt DePonte on the carry. I think if Plainfield brings a lot of pressure early on in this game, we could see Griswold go to that shotgun formation.
Sure.
And try to get Koziel some more time if they bring the blitz.
Captains, of course, comprise the heart and soul of our offensive line. Chris Thibodeau in motion again. It's a handoff to Chris Thibodeau, looking to make his way up the middle. Number 52 for the Panthers steps into the gap and shuts that play down for the young Thibodeau.
He gets about, they gave him a good spot, so it's going to be 3rd and 5, it looks like.
Ball currently spotted in the Wolverine territory at our own 25-yard line. So 5 yards so far of offensive effort on the ground by the Wolverines. So far, both snaps have come from the line of scrimmage. Koziel looking to his left, looking straight ahead, taking the snap. It's a handoff up the middle again with some room to run.
Oh, they give it to him. First down.
Thibodeau comes up with the first down for the Wolverines.
Picked up about 7 yards on that run.
It's a little early to say, but I'd have to say my big question before the kickoff was, can the offensive line create those gaps so that we can run the ball? Will they give Koziel the time that he needs? And so far, the answer is yeah.
Yes. They have to keep it going for a long time.
Ball spot at the 31-32-yard line in Wolverine territory. It's a handoff again to the left-hand side of the ball. Number 4 with the carry that time. C.J. Matson with the carry for the Wolverines. Picks up another couple of yards. So, folks, with the conditions being what they are, it's ground and pound football so far.
Pretty much. With the windy conditions, it's going to be hard to throw, especially the way that Griswold's going. They're throwing into the wind, so you can't really throw the ball.
We've got 3 in the backfield, nobody in motion. The handoff up the middle to Chris Thibodeau, fighting his way forward. He was able to roll to his left and pick up a yard or 2 at the end of that play.
Looks like it's going to be another 3rd and 5.
Sure does. So we know when the Wolverines like to run, it's usually a version of 1 or 2 things. It's a handoff to a running back in the backfield and more or less a run up the gut, which is what we've seen so far tonight in the 6 plays that we've seen. Or they try to seal the end and bring it to the outside. We have not seen that yet. On 3rd and 5, I'll be curious to see if they try to seal the end or if they're going to run it up the gut again, the middle. It's a handoff to Chris Thibodeau, sure enough, trying to seal the end, just like I thought they might try to do, but he was taken down.
Yeah, it looks like he lost about 8 yards on that run. They tried it.
That was quite the hit by the Panthers there, as they also anticipated a seal the end type run and hit Thibodeau for a big loss, bring it up 4th and too much for the Wolverines.
Definitely, they're going to have to punt here.
So
usually with how Koziel punts, it should get to about the 40-yard line, which is where Lucian Doobie is. So we'll see what happens.
I agree. He'll be kicking where he kicks the ball. It'll be about his own 15 to 20-yard line. Nice boot there by Koziel. There's midfield, bouncing, takes a Wolverine bounce, heading out of bounds, but it stays in bounds. Sure enough, Sean, just like you said, 40-yard line in Plainfield territory. So the Panthers are going to take over on downs. We're going to take a quick break before the Panther possession. You're listening to continuing live coverage 0-0 historic Thanksgiving Eve on Wolverine Radio. Good evening and welcome back at 0-0 at our pre-Thanksgiving contest between the Wolverines and the Plainfield Panthers. Liam Smith, the quarterback for the Panthers there, with an incomplete pass first play of the game. Same formation as the Wolverines.
Definitely. They came out like they were going to run a shotgun play, and then they came in and decided to run double wing. It was a drop by Lucian Doobie on the first pass. He had it right in his chest, but just couldn't hang on to it.
That's some aggressive play calling by the Panthers to be throwing in these conditions. 2nd and 10 from the Plainfield 40-yard line. And again, the same offensive formation that we've seen the Wolverines run so many times is being executed by the Panthers. Here's their run up the gut for a gain of about a yard, maybe a yard and a half. It's number 24 for the Panthers with that carry.
That's Bryce, another Italian name, Charadelli. Carchidi. Oh,
there we go.
And I'm Italian too, so that's really bad.
I knew you'd get it. So they gave him about a yard on that first run attempt by the Panthers. I'll tell you, so what we're seeing right now is that the Wolverines were able to create some room offensively to convert that first down for them. And so far, they're doing a pretty good job with that first run effort by the Panthers. From the shotgun now is Liam Smith taking the snap. Here's the snap, hands it off to number 21, who's hitting the backfield. He's going to do his best to get back to the line of scrimmage, but I'm not sure if he made it, Sean. What do you think?
It looks like he lost about a yard. They made it look like it was going to be an obvious pass play, then tried to hit him with the quick handoff. But
sure enough, that ball's right back at the 40-yard
was
line
right on it.
In Panther territory.
Yeah, it looked like Griswold was in zone coverage. They had number 5, Logan Chappelle, who was playing safety on that play. They had him playing off coverage on Lucian Doobie, excuse me.
So the Panthers are forced to punt after their first possession. 3 quick downs. Nice punt by the Panthers. That ball lands and stops exactly on the Wolverine 30-yard line. So Wolverines are going to take over on downs here from their own 30-yard line. 0-0 is the score tonight, and it's too early to say because if you look back at how both of these teams historically score, you would see that both of these teams score primarily in the second and in the fourth quarters, so we don't typically see their best efforts in the first and third. But what we're seeing tonight is that our captains are able to prevent the run on the Panther side of the ball and create a little bit of room on the Wolverine side of the ball. But again, we were stopped pretty quickly there by the Panthers in that first possession.
Right, Griswold has to do a better job on first down, getting even just an extra yard or two. They were only getting 1.
Twice we saw 3rd and 5 situations, which means you don't really have a whole lot of options with the play calling. That's right.
We have a penalty, I think.
So the ball was on a 30-yard line, but it looks like a penalty was assessed against the Wolverines. We missed that call.
It looked like maybe an unnecessary roughness.
Wow.
We've seen a lot of chippiness out of both teams. Even in the JV game,
it was a personal foul for 20 yards, but it must have happened during the kick, and we didn't see it because they haven't run a play yet. So, all right, massive 20-yard penalty assessed during the kick. Wolverines are 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line now. And it's a back to throw is Koziel. He hits number 4, who has some room to run, breaking one tackle and then being tackled by number 73, C.J. Matson, with the completed pass.
And he got injured a few weeks ago, C.J. Matson, and he didn't play in the Trumbull game, but it's good to see him back and fully healthy.
Aiden Oberg on the stop there for the Panthers. However, that is going to move the chains. Talk about being able to do a better job on the first down.
Right, they have to.
That counts.
Definitely.
That counts as a better job on the first down. What I liked about that play, it was a simple run to the near side of the field, a simple run and out, a slant, and he was open all day long. So let's see if the Panther defense is able to accommodate here. Back to throw again is Koziel looking over the middle, scrambling to his left. He has some room to run. He's across the line of scrimmage, heading for the far side of the field, turning upfield before being tackled out of bounds. What a nice run there by our quarterback, Andrew Koziel.
And Koziel was excited on that play. It looked like it was Kyle Holt that pushed him out of bounds, I think it was. And ran over to his sideline, and everyone was jumping up and really excited. They're moving 2 first downs on 2 plays. Really moving the ball really well.
2 first downs. The ball is now spotted still in Wolverine territory at our own 45-yard line. So they've moved the ball now 35 yards in 2 plays. He was looking to throw that time, but did not. See, that's what we're talking about for the game. He didn't like what he saw.
Right.
So he held on to the ball and kept the option. Nothing's going to keep the Plainfield defense on its toes more than that tonight. It's a handoff up the middle and a whole lot of nothing on that play there
Yeah, Matson, it looked like, I think.
Number 34, which is...
34?
Yep.
The 4 fooled me. Sims. Michael Sims on the carry. Maybe gained an inch or two, it looks like.
Yeah.
If that.
If that. 2nd and 10 is the call on the field for the Wolverines. They're at their own 45-yard line with a nice 35-yard charge here to open up the second possession for the Wolverines. Back to the line of scrimmage is Koziel, 3 in the backfield. Fake handoff, looking to throw to his right-hand side, and it's a completed pass to C.J. Matson, the same play we saw just a few moments ago with another first down.
And tight coverage by number 73, Aiden Oberg. He almost had that too. It looked like it grazed the shoulder of Oberg, but Matson juggled it a little bit, but was able to bring it in for a very good catch and another first down.
Same play that we saw at the opening of this current drive. That play was made the first time from our own 10-yard line. Now we're up almost at the Plainfield 40-yard line. So the Panthers were able to adapt to that play, but it still resulted in a big gain for the Wolverines. 1st and 10, 40-yard march to the end zone. It's a fake handoff to C.J. Matson. Throws this time to his intended receiver, Chris Thibodeau. He's got some room to run. He catches the ball. He's heading for the end zone.
Dives.
And, folks, that is a...
They called him out of bounds.
He was knocked out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
He almost had it. That was perfect. Play action, and Koziel, he held the ball by his thigh, so it didn't look like he had the ball, and then he just throws it up across his body and makes a perfect throw to Thibodeau.
What a fantastic play there by the Wolverines. And Thibodeau took off like he was fired out of a cannon.
Yes.
It was unbelievable that the Panthers were able to catch him and force him out of bounds at the literal 1-yard line. Hey, don't take our word for it, though, folks. Watch us live online. And look at that offensive line doing what they do. And they just pound the ball into the end zone. The Wolverines are saying yes, and the refs agree. 6-0. Wolverines take the early lead here with just 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. So we've had a really good 7 minutes here, Sean. This has gone amazing.
Definitely.
Is your brother coming out?
He's coming out.
Now tell us who your brother is.
My brother is E-Dog, number 64.
And what does E-Dog do?
He is the kicker.
He is the kicker.
The best one around.
He is the best one around. E-Dog is a fine young man, and he's going to kick for the extra point attempt here for the Wolverines. 6-0. Wolverines on top in the first 7 minutes of the game after an amazing drive spearheaded by our captain Koziel. Here comes E-Dog. The ball is down. It's a short kick, but I'm telling you what.
It's good!
It goes through the uprights.
Oh, he makes me so proud. Sorry my bias is showing, but...
Hey, we're Wolverine fans here, unapologetically so. 7-0, Wolverines on top here on Thanksgiving Eve. This is an exciting matchup, folks. You're not going to want to miss another minute. If you already have, join us on YouTube to watch the video coverage of tonight's competition. Quick break and a Plainfield possession is what's next. 7-0, Wolverines on top of the Panthers here in Plainfield. Happy Thanksgiving from Wolverine Radio. Welcome back and happy Thanksgiving from Wolverine Radio. PJ Pastor Josh here from Quinnebog River Church with my friend Sean Anderson. He's famous for one reason, folks, and that's because his brother just kicked the extra point for the Wolverines. 7-0 here with 7 minutes ticked by in the first quarter as the Wolverines are back. Chris Thibodeau here with the kickoff, broadcasting live from the Griswold Pride broadcast booth. It's Wolverine Radio. Final game of the night is tonight for the Wolverines. Still too early to tell for the Panthers as they have playoff hopes, which will be determined by tonight's competition. Onside kick by Thibodeau. No surprise there. The Plainfield Panthers field the ground ball.
All over it.
Right around the 40.
It was moving a little bit. It was kind of like a knuckleball. It moved a little bit, so he just like brought it in, and then he got down to the ground as quick as he could.
1st and 10 for the Panthers from their own 47-yard line.
Just a quick update from scores around the league.
Yeah.
NFA is up over New London 7-0.
Really?
It's early, though.
A lot of transitions this year for New London with some new players and some new coaching. NFA, of course, my alma mater. They're playing tonight. A lot of high schools chose that option tonight because of the frigid forecast for tomorrow. But stay warm and cozy. Watch tonight's game here between the Wolverines and the Panthers on YouTube. Just click on the
timeout
link
taken
from the Wolverine Radio Facebook page. Timeout called on the field. We're going to take a quick break. 7-0. The Panthers need some time to think about this important drive. 7-0 Wolverines on top of the Panthers. You're listening to continuing live coverage of the Griswold High School football program for 2018 right here on Wolverine Radio. Folks, to continuing live coverage of the Wolverines versus the Panthers on the road. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and it's a run up the middle by the Plainfield Panthers as they have a first down here and their first possession here in a few minutes following a Wolverine touchdown, number 21, with a nice carry there for the Plainfield Panthers.
Kyle Holt on the carry. He's one of their best guys. They're going to have to lean on him a lot in this game, Plainfield is, if they're going to win this game tonight.
Gain of about 5 there on that first run.
It was like a counter run play. They faked the run to one side, and then he came back around the other way.
Liam Smith took the snap on that first down from the shotgun position.
I was talking about Griswold maybe going to the shotgun early, but it looks like Plainfield is trying that same thing.
Now they're back at the line of scrimmage. Smith is going to take the snap for the Panthers. 3 in the backfield formation that we're very familiar with. Number 24 was the carrier that time. And our defense said no to that.
Yeah, that was Carchidi. I got that. I got it right this time.
Good job.
Getting better.
Looks like 3rd and 6 here for the Panthers. They were forced to punt after 3 on their first possession, and then the Wolverines drove the ball from their own 10-yard line all the way down the field, 90 yards, for a touchdown and good extra point. 7-0 is the score here with most of the first quarter behind us and in the books. Big third down here for the Panthers. Smith taking the snap from the line of scrimmage, 3 in the backfield. He's going to have to throw. Sure enough, he's dropping back to throw, looking down the field. Big pass attempt here, looking for number 16. Broken up by number 5 for the Wolverines,
Chappelle,
our very own Logan Chappelle.
Defense. Number 12.
Henry Russell was the intended receiver for the Plainfield Panthers that time.
Yeah, he had a step on Chappelle too. He had him, but just not enough air under the ball for
What was the report
Smith.
that we got while we were away from break from Sass on the field?
He said that the hands right now for these players are pretty much frozen, and it's tough to catch the ball. So we might see the team start going to a more running game because the temperature is affecting the throwing because of how hard they have to throw it to get it a certain amount of yards.
Logan Chappelle back to catch the punt for the Wolverines. He catches the ball at our own 20-yard line, running to his left, heading towards the sideline, and then diving out of bounds while being hit just short of the 40-yard line. So pretty good field position here for the Wolverines at their third possession of the game. We have Sean Sass tonight, who has done a lot for Wolverine Radio over the years. He's enjoying the game from outdoors.
Yes, lucky him.
So he's keeping
it's not much
us
warmer up here, though.
He's keeping us updated on AOL Messenger and Snappy Chat and Facebook and whatever not. But yes, he's saying, you know what, folks, it's cold outside.
Yes.
It means it's hard to throw the ball and it's windy.
Even though Griswold's doing it, though.
Yeah.
That's the strange thing. Griswold is coming out, they're throwing the ball even with the odds against them, and they're making it work.
Third possession of the first quarter for the Wolverines. A handoff up the middle to Chris Thibodeau. Gain of a couple of yards here
Maybe
for
one. Not
the
even.
Wolverines. What do you think, 1?
I think maybe 6 inches.
Okay.
If that adds up to a yard, I don't know.
Yeah,
I wasn't good at math.
I think you're right. It's about a foot, isn't it? Yeah. Ball was originally spotted on our own 39-yard line, and now it's on our 39 and 3/4.
The running on first down, it's not working for Griswold right now. They might have to change things up and go back to the passing on first down.
From the line of scrimmage is Koziel back, and he pitches the ball to Thibodeau, looking to contain the end, looking for some blocking, turning the corner, but not finding what he was hoping for. Short gain there for Thibodeau. It's going to bring up that classic 3rd and 5, isn't it?
Yes, 3rd and 5, about 3rd and 6.
So we've seen this a few times, and what you were saying before is an astute observation that at least in the first quarter, when the Wolverines throw on first down, they convert.
Yes.
If they run on first down, they may convert, they may not.
Now,
but it brings up a 3rd and 5.
Griswold could do one or two things. They've run on both 3rd downs, I believe. So they could run again, and if they don't get it, they can punt it and get it to about the 20 and make Plainfield work a long way.
Well, let's see what the call is here. It's a fake handoff. Throwing to his left is Koziel. He finds Thibodeau down the field, who has some room to run, who is finally brought down by the Panthers inside the 30-yard line. Thibodeau's fired up.
Oh, definitely. They're all fired up.
I believe, was it number 16 on the stop there? Henry Russell for the Panthers. Also number 1 and number 2. Lucian Doobie and Cade Wolak were in on that stop.
That was the same play they ran for the
That's correct.
run that almost got a touchdown. They caught him at the 1-yard line, but it's the same exact design.
You got it. And that play is working well tonight.
Yes.
And what's really awesome is that given the cold temperature and the wind, throwing into the wind, is that is 2 attempts to Thibodeau on the left side, 2 completions for big gain. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. Flags on the play before the snap. The side referee saw something he did not like, but I did not see any motion. And let's see what the call is here. Yep. Offsides called against the Panthers, so we'll take another 5 yards and a 1st down. Brings it up to the 25-yard line in Panther territory.
Griswold dominating. Don't want to jinx it. I mean, they're looking.
So
I know, I shouldn't jinx it.
I know we haven't covered a game before, but this is what we say, and you probably heard me say this 100 times maybe, is that 2 scores is a tie in high school football. There's a run up the middle by C.J. Matson. Let's see if it's enough for the 1st down. Sure enough.
6 yards.
Pickup of 6 yards for C.J. Matson, another 1st down for the Wolverines. So what got them out of that 3rd and 5 was a beautiful pass to the left-hand side to Thibodeau, who's been catching the ball tonight. Sometimes he doesn't.
He's been a good runner all year
He has been an excellent runner.
For Griswold. He's been very, very good, but we're seeing something that we don't normally see.
Which is him perfect on catching the ball, and, of course, Koziel's putting it right in the breadbasket. So great job by the boys here. Wow, what a run up the middle here by the Wolverines.
34, Michael Sims on the run that time.
Boy, we saw him produce in that game against Craig. It came down to him in the 4th quarter. He was begging for water. He kept gesturing to Coach Greg Wilcox to come out of the game. He's like, no, buddy, you run that ball. And he did. He ran it up the gut for about 12 minutes straight. And tonight, another nice carry by Michael Sims. So 2nd and 2 or so for the Wolverines. It's a handoff to Sims, number 34. Let's see if he picks up the 1st down.
Looks like they gave it to him.
1st and goal for the Wolverines.
1st and goal for the Wolverines here with 30 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter of play.
Definitely. It looks like the ball's on about the 5 or 6 yard line. They could run it again. Both Thibodeau and Sims are pretty much the 2 big playmakers right now in this 1st quarter.
Yes. What we saw when they were down here at the 1-yard line just a few moments ago was the whole offensive line just decided to move the defense back on their heels. Let's see what they do here from the 5. It's a handoff to Michael Sims, pounding his way and rolling his way forward. Comes short of the touchdown. It picks up another yard or 2.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be 2nd and 4, but that's going to end the 1st quarter.
So that is exactly correct, Mr. Anderson. That's the end of the 1st quarter, 7-0, with the Wolverines knocking on the door for the 2nd time. We're going to take a short break and pick up the action here in Plainfield. Happy Thanksgiving. You're listening to continuing live coverage of the Wolverines versus this epic, eternal contest for the Panthers on Thanksgiving. 7-0. It's going the Wolverine way right here on Wolverine Radio.
Looked like they wanted to run
that. I'm gonna do a couple mentions.
Yeah,
And
sure.
then
looked like they wanted to run that quarterback sneak again, but stacked the box so he wouldn't have gotten it.
I'm gonna get right back to you.
Yeah, no problem.
My God, it's cold.
Are you going to do that before the
Yep, we'll do one quick mention.
touchdown, possibly? Okay.
Yep. This game is being brought to you on the corner of North Main and Ashland Street, 860-376-9141. Call them up. Your order will be ready. Dean's Corner Diner, the best breakfast in town. Josh?
3rd and short. The Wolverines botch snap. Chris Thibodeau back to pick it up. He's able to pick up the ball, scrambling for the end zone. What a miscalculated play that was. Not worth the timeout.
They tried to get
5 yards.
They tried to get creative when they really didn't need to. All they needed to do was just run it. They wanted number 34, Sims, they wanted him to take the Thibodeau, 35, I'm sorry. They wanted him to take it and jump over the line, but he just bobbled the snap. Looked like it went right through his hands.
It did.
He couldn't bring it in.
So the snap was supposed to go right to Thibodeau, who's been perfect tonight,
Right.
but the ball went through his hands. He was able to recover that fumble, but then was tackled on the 9-yard line. 4th and 9 now with the Wolverines going forward here, of course. And back to throws. Koziel under pressure, throws the ball into
Almost
the end
picked.
zone, almost picked off by number 34 for the Plainfield Panthers.
Connor Peasley.
Connor Peasley almost came up big there with an interception. Another botched end zone attempt by the Wolverines. So sad getting down so close.
Right.
It looked like all they had to do was just
And
do
it
what
was
they did.
3rd down. Why you run that play on
I don't
3rd
know.
down blows my mind.
I don't know.
I don't understand the play calling.
Because so far tonight, the offensive line of the Wolverines has been able to push
Right.
the defense back on their heels. They were less than a yard out. All they
Right.
needed to do was just shove the ball
Run it.
right in the end zone.
They should have had a QB sneak again, even though it looked like it might not have worked. They could have just leaned and pushed him in.
So the score stays 7-0 there after so close but not close enough for the Wolverines. Smith back for Plainfield, takes the snap, and it's a handoff to the left-hand side, to the right-hand side of the ball. The Wolverine defense able to stuff that play, however.
Looks like at about the line of scrimmage. Nope, they give him a yard.
A little less than a yard, but it's going to bring up 2nd and 9 and change for the Plainfield Panthers. So they're deep in their own territory here. They're back at their own 10-yard line.
I think that was the thinking for Griswold. If they didn't get it, they back up Plainfield
Sure.
and have to have them work the whole length of the field.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense, but
Right.
nothing substitutes 6 points.
Right, I know. But if they punt, they'll get the ball a little short of midfield.
Let's see what happens. We know that the Plainfield Panthers have an arm here in their quarterback, Liam Smith. It's a handoff up the middle again, however, to number 21, their workhorse. Short gain for the Panthers. It's going to bring up 3rd and
6, 7?
5 or 6 here. Third.
Oh, yeah, it looks like 6.
They gave him a good spot there. 3rd and 5 or 6 for the Panthers, deep in their own territory. So this is another big 3rd down for the Panthers here. So far, the Wolverines have been perfect on defense.
Definitely. They've been very, very good. They haven't allowed them to move the football running,
No.
except for maybe a play or two where they got 5 yards.
An incomplete pass the few times that the Plainfield Panthers have tried to throw the ball. Smith from the line of scrimmage. Number 21, their workhorse, in motion in the backfield. Sure enough, it's a handoff up the middle. That's not going to be enough for the 1st down. Let's see. That was number 56 on the initial stop there for the Wolverines.
Looks like, nope, they're not going to go for it. Or at least right away, they could try a run in punt formation.
Corey Carr there coming up with a big stop for the Wolverines. Stepped into the gap and stopped the run there by Kyle Holt, the producer for the Plainfield offense so far tonight. So the Panthers are going to have to punt the ball here for the 3rd time tonight. Quarterback is back to take the snap, and he's also going to punt the ball here. Nice job by the Panthers. Punt the ball, and
Lost
it is
it,
dropped
but he got it.
and recovered by Logan Chappelle right at midfield. So the Wolverines are going to take over on downs, 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line for the Wolverines. Quick break, and then right back. It's Happy Thanksgiving, 7-0 here on the road on Wolverine Radio. Welcome back and happy Thanksgiving. The Wolverines have the ball at midfield. They've run one play, gained a yard, but then there was a late flag on the play, resulting in a personal foul by the Wolverines against the Panthers. That's going to move them all the way back 20 yards into their own territory here, the wrong direction.
Yeah, not good. They got to keep their emotions in check and just got to...
As soon as that call was made, the Plainfield defense started to do the victory dance on the field.
Yeah.
So this was no surprise to the Panthers. Back on their own 34-yard line now after a big 20-yard penalty. Second one of the game
Don't be
against the
surprised
Wolverines.
if you see that play action pass. So here we go with some spread.
7-0 here is the score in Plainfield. It's a fake handoff to Thibodeau. Rolling to his right and throwing is Koziel. It's a complete pass
Chappelle
to Logan Chappelle for a gain of about 10 yards there, bringing the first down for the Wolverines.
They
Good job there.
Third down.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That wasn't obviously not a first down. It's a good 10-yard gain.
Yeah, they still need about 15 more yards.
Yes, they do.
They're going to have to air it out.
Yes, they are. So the Wolverines have brought the ball twice now, down within a yard of the end zone, only once getting in, repelled the second time by the Plainfield defense. Back to throw is Koziel, looking to find Chris Thibodeau on the right-hand side. Play broken up by number 16,
Henry Russell.
So Henry Russell comes up with a big defensive play there for the Panthers, because the two other times we've seen that play tonight, it's resulted in a 25 to 30-yard gain for the Wolverines.
And Russell was right on the receiver. I don't know if he had anybody open on the other side of the field, but definitely.
Wolverines looking for some magic here, forcing to punt the ball away. Ball lands in Panther territory, takes a Wolverine bounce down to about the 22-23 yard line. Good punt picked up by CJ Matson and tossed to the ref. So 1st and 10 for the Panthers here. 7-0 the score tonight so far, with about 7 minutes remaining in the second quarter of play. Tonight's game, of course, happening on Thanksgiving Eve because of the forecast for tomorrow. It's cold tonight, but it's supposed to be colder tomorrow. So under the lights here in Plainfield.
I was going to wear long johns, but E-Dog stole my long johns and my hand warmers.
Well, how many points have you scored tonight, and how many points has your brother scored?
Well, I guess
so. Who gets the long johns? That's what I'm saying. Who gets the long johns? 1st and 10 for the Panthers from the shotgun is Liam Smith. Takes the snap, hands it off to number 21. Boy, the Wolverine defense saw that play coming, and for a loss there of about 4 or 5 yards.
Kyle Holt on the run, and he looks
and number 21 a little banged up on that play, favoring his left arm. Some of these boys are in shirt sleeves tonight.
Not a smart move, in my opinion.
And, of course, Kyle Holt is one of those guys. He has been running the ball for the Panthers tonight, working awfully hard, favoring his left arm as the Wolverines stuffed that play.
Stayed in the game, though.
Yes.
He didn't come out.
So loss of a yard there on that play. They called it dead by forward progress there, apparently, because the play was shoved back another 5 or 6 yards. From the shotgun again, Liam Smith is going to take the snap. Number 21 is in motion. Fake, and it's a pass to his right-hand side. Almost picked off there by the Wolverines. Andrew Koziel, our very own quarterback, in on the defensive effort there.
Yeah, and it looked like Lucian Doobie and Logan Chappelle, the deeper route, looked like they got tripped up on each other. About 10 yards past Koziel and who Smith was trying to pass to. Oh, and they called pass interference.
Sorry, missed that. What was that penalty?
Did they call pass interference there? Because it looked like it.
Wow.
Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer. Thank you. Some help here from our friends in the press box. Mark Allard from the Norwich Bulletin. So roughing the passer, I did not see that because I was watching the receiver through my binoculars. So that is the third.
And you hate those too. Those are those kind of penalties, like, you didn't have to do it, but you did. Like, it could have been avoided.
So far tonight, the Wolverines have been assessed with 2 personal fouls and a roughing the passer, whereas the Panthers have had 1 offsides.
If Griswold loses, it's going to be because of these penalties right
here. They've given away 60 yards in penalties so far tonight. That's correct. So with some new life here under their offensive effort, back to throw is Smith. And it's picked off by the Wolverines. Koziel in on breaking up the play, and it was Chappelle with the catch.
A nasty stiff arm by Chappelle.
Multiple flags on the play. So right now the play is over, out of bounds at midfield at the 50-yard line, but multiple flags on that play. What did you see there, Sean?
I saw an aggressive stiff arm by number 5, Logan Chappelle, on a number 73, and we don't have a 73. Oh, yes, we do. That was Aiden Oberg. An aggressive stiff arm.
Well, let's see what the call is here. Koziel got his hand on the ball and was able to break up that pass, and Chappelle brought it down. It was a 20-yard pass attempt over the middle of the field.
Griswold's going to get the ball, so we'll see what happens. It looks like it was a possible defensive penalty.
Right now, the Wolverines are lining up like it was a defensive penalty.
Yep.
Personal foul.
Must have been a hit out of bounds on one of the Wolverines.
Wow.
By the Panthers. And
that, you know, interesting. So the Wolverines, big interception here. The ball now on the 31-yard line, deep in Panther territory. Koziel, who just interrupted that pass, is now the quarterback as he's playing both sides of the ball to run to the right-hand side.
4-yard
Chris
gain.
Thibodeau picks up the ball about 4 yards or so. Wow, you know, one of the things that's interesting, and if you're not familiar with high school football, it's easy to miss because you're so used to the NFL or college. Almost everybody plays both sides of the ball.
Right.
Everybody's in on every play, especially on games like tonight where potential postseason action is on the line and a big rivalry going here. So second down for the Wolverines after a big interception and then a personal foul called against the Panthers. Back to throw is Koziel looking for the end zone, overthrows. C.J. Matson was the intended receiver, but that ball was way overthrown.
Right, and that was probably a good thing because it was double coverage.
Double coverage.
So it was a good job by Koziel. Instead of throwing it out of bounds, throws it ahead of the receiver.
That was a smart call, though. Keeps the defense honest, and it was a receiver other than Chris Thibodeau. So that was a good call there. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7 here for the Wolverines in Plainfield territory, right around the 27-yard line here. Thibodeau in motion, 2 others in the backfield. Fakes it to Thibodeau, back to throw is Koziel down the middle and throwing deep for Anthony Franklin. Anthony stretches out and dives, but unable to come up with the catch.
That was tough. He had him. He had a step just out of the reach.
It's going to bring up 4th and 7 here for the Wolverines. You know, what do you do here? The ball's on the 27-yard line.
You could do a little like rugby punt, see if you can get it inside the 5. You go for it.
I go for it. I go for it. It's Thanksgiving Eve, man.
Oh, I know.
It's the last game
I'm
of the
just
season.
thinking if you want to play field position.
You're wearing the long underwear.
No, E-Dog is.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Griswold.
Griswold just calls a timeout, which means we're going to go to a quick break.
Oh, hold up. We got a quick update. NFA is leading New London 14-0.
Go Wildcats. It's 7-0 here. Wolverines versus Panthers. Quick break and back as the Wolverines have a big decision here to make on 4th. You're listening to Wolverine Radio. Happy Thanksgiving.
NFA is 13. Oh, I just correction is 13-0.
Wolverines on 4th and 7. They decide to run a play that they botched for an attempted touchdown just about 10 minutes or so ago. It was a direct snap to Chris Thibodeau. Ran to the near side of the field, tried to contain the end, but the blocking wasn't there. Plainfield 1st and 10 from their own, let's see, that's going to be the 35-yard line. Other updates in the ECC. What do you have there, Sean?
Oh, my God. Ledger trailing Fitch 28-7 right now. That's another update.
And it
what
was NFA and
NFA
London 13 zip. NFA up.
Yes. Yes.
And Sean Sass from the sideline told us that it was a personal foul that Dylan Chaikow was the recipient of that gave the Wolverines that big 15, 20-yard penalty, but no touchdown for the Wolverines. Here we go, the Plainfield trying to run around the end on the near side. That play was stopped. I don't think they picked up any yards on that play.
Oh, they're giving him a couple. Lucian Doobie.
Doobie. Well, sure enough, they give him a couple yards on that play. Okay. So the Panthers offensively tonight have been shut out so far by the Wolverines. It's only 7-0, but Sean, honestly, it feels like it's more than that.
Yeah, Griswold should have more points
just
than
from the
7.
time of possession that we've had the ball. But number 21 charging the ball up the middle of the field, picking up a few yards there. He's the heavy hitter for the Plainfield Panthers tonight.
It's going to be about 3rd and 7 now, 3rd and 5 or 6.
Kyle Holt, of course, is pretty much the offensive effort for the Panthers tonight.
Right, and he's been banged up, too. We've seen him having to hold that left elbow a little bit.
Another big 3rd down here for the Panther offense, trying to get the ball across midfield. I don't think they've managed to do that so far this game. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 here for Smith. Takes the snap from the line of scrimmage, hands the ball off to number 1, Doobie. Takes a big hit from Koziel, slows him down for Chappelle to come in and make the stop, but not before converting a first down.
And he just got that first down. Even if they didn't get it, they were going to go for it in that situation.
So the Plainfield crowd waking up there for that first down for the Panther offense. They haven't had a whole lot to cheer for.
No, I think that's like, is that their first down?
That's what I'm saying.
Of the game, maybe?
That's correct. It is. Yes. That's why they were cheering. Smith saying, here we go, boys, let's go. Liam Smith takes the snap here from the line of scrimmage, hands the ball off to number 24. Wolverine defense is quick to respond, only picks up a yard or two there for the Panthers.
Looks like number 11 is slow to get up for Griswold.
Bryce Carchidi on the carry there for the Panthers. Number 11 has popped right back up and stays in the game for the Panthers. That, of course, is Colby Vantine. So the Griswold defense has been perfect tonight. That's the first down,
3rd down conversion
that Plainfield has completed on the evening. Yep.
Crazy.
So 2nd and 10 here, 2nd and 8 rather, for the Plainfield offense. Oh no, number 21 who received the pitch took out his own quarterback as he cut upfield. Wolverine swarming to recover. That play for a loss.
Looks like they got back to the line of scrimmage.
That's a miracle if they did.
I know.
Because
that was a big hit. Too bad it was on his own guy.
It was. Kyle Holt decked Liam Smith as he pitched the ball to Kyle. Kyle turned upfield immediately and took Liam right out on his rear end there. So 3rd and 7 here, another big 3rd down for the Plainfield Panthers. They're going to snapping the ball from their own 47-yard line here. Let's see if they're able to convert this first down. He does a little flea flicker to number 1, Doobie, and number 22 in on the stop here on the near side of the field.
Matt DePonte in on the tackle for Griswold.
Big stop there by the Wolverines. It's going to bring up 4th and 9 as they lost a yard and a half on that play.
And we're within 2 minutes of halftime already. This game's going by very quickly.
Game is going quick, but it's only a 1-score game, which is amazing because the Wolverines have been winning the time of possession game for sure.
Might want to watch a fake here. I have a feeling something's coming sooner or later.
Number 1, Doobie back to take the snap, theoretically to kick the ball away. Low snap, sure enough, hangs on to it, and then does indeed punt the ball away over the head of Chappelle, who just watches the ball stop in Wolverine territory, about the 17, 18-yard line.
And now Plainfield has 2 timeouts, so hypothetically speaking, Griswold could run it 2 times. If they don't convert, they're not able to run the clock down because, or not as much, because Plainfield would still have some timeouts left. So it'll be interesting to see what the Wolverines decide to do here.
So here we go. The Wolverines are back on offense from their own 18-yard line with just a couple of minutes. Actually, I'm sorry, a minute and a half remaining in the first half of play. 7-0, the Wolverines are on top after a first quarter 1-yard run into the end zone. We've had one other 1-yard attempt into the end zone that was busted up by the Panthers. Koziel here takes a snap from the shotgun, looking to throw, running to his left-hand side, coming near the press box. He takes a hit, he avoids it, and runs out of bounds, picks up about 5 yards.
Yeah, that was a good gain. He could have hit C.J. Matson short if he wanted to, but he decided to run and try to get a few yards and have Matson play as a blocker on that run.
And this is what we've seen change since that first game of the season on the road, is that Koziel now more patient in the pocket, trusting his offensive line to give him the time that he needs, not throwing into heavy traffic. Back to throw again is Koziel. Does throw into heavy traffic that time, looking for Anthony Franklin, and it looks like a possible pass interference call against Alex Drake, number 4 for the Plainfield Panthers. Let's see the call.
That'll be
What do you
big.
think? Was it pass interference?
It looked like pass interference.
He definitely reached over the back of Anthony Franklin and used his hand to
Right.
smack down on
And
the
you
ball.
saw
Yeah.
for the Wolverines, the play that was trying to get
was
Franklin,
Franklin.
like having both arms up in the air, like.
So it looks like a big call here against the Panther defense here with just a minute remaining in the half. Pass interference. Anthony Franklin was busted up on that play by Alex Drake. And so the Wolverines are going to pick up a few yards here and a first down. The ball now at the at the Wolverine 35-yard line, 33-yard line. Koziel back to throw, throwing far to the right-hand side. He's looking for Chappelle.
It's caught.
Oh, my goodness.
How did he
Logan
do that?
Chappelle comes up big in
Double
double coverage, moves the ball. That was a 40-yard completion.
That looks like a 20-yard completion.
I'm sorry, 20-yard completion.
That's all right.
They're
Math
down at
wasn't
the
my
40
best subject either.
They're down at the Panther 40-yard line now. 20-yard completion, back to throw, same play, and that play was busted up. They ran the same play trying to find Logan Chappelle for the second time there, number 5. That play was busted up, or was it Thibodeau?
It looked like Thibodeau
Yeah,
on
you're
the
right.
far side.
Thibodeau, same play, different
Double
receiver.
coverage, though. They're getting risky here with a little bit less than a minute to go. Just
So
airing it out, seeing what happens.
Big 20-yard completion there for Logan Chappelle after a pass interference call against Anthony Franklin by Alex Drake of the Plainfield Panthers. Brings the ball down to 2nd and 10 from the 40-yard line in Panther territory. From the shotgun, Koziel looking to throw, has some time, runs through the middle, picking up 5,
Lost
10,
the ball.
spins to the
Lost the ball.
15-yard
Ball's
gain.
out. Playfield's got it.
Ball's out. Plainfield recovers with 43 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Turnover, which the Panthers are going to have a chance here late in the first half. First and 10 for the Plainfield Panthers after a 15-yard scamper by Koziel. That did not work out well for us at all.
I mean, Playfield has to air it out. I don't think they can kick field goals. They had Connor Davis last year, and he could kick it from about, I think, and he could kick it for, Connor Davis? There he is. He's right here. And he could kick it from, like, what, 45-yard, the 45-yard line or something?
He does not have his long underwear on.
Nah.
That is a problem for the Panthers. Panthers pick up on their own 30-yard line. That was a 10-yard scamper by Koziel before being knocked, and the ball came out. Panthers running the ball up the middle, pick up about 4 yards, maybe 5.
Looks like they might just run it to halftime because they get the ball coming out of the half.
That's correct. Plainfield deferred after winning the toss 24 minutes of play ago.
It'll be interesting to see what adjustments the Panthers make coming out of halftime. Obviously, they might have to abandon the run game, which is something that this offense needs to do.
Well, this 5-yard carry was one of the biggest of the night.
I know. Maybe it's starting to come in. Maybe they abandon it. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do.
So Plainfield not worried about the clock. 3, 2, 1, and with 0.8 of a second remaining on the clock, why a whistle was blown is completely unknown to me and the Plainfield coaching
Delay
staff.
of game. with .8 seconds to go.
So what happens in these situations is one of the refs is watching the clock. That's his job, and that was the call. So 5 yards get marched off against the Panthers with less than a second remaining in the first half of play. And, of course, this is just going to be a snap and let the clock run out. And we're going to go to halftime. So 7-0 here on the road. It's the Thanksgiving Classic, Wolverines versus the Panthers. I'll tell you what, we'll have more to say about this. We've got some halftime coverage coming, and, of course, the second half of play. But really, the big story of the night is time of possession.
Definitely.
It has not resulted in the points that we'd like to see for the Wolverines, but they have been owning the clock and stopping the Plainfield defense. So we're going to take a little break here at halftime in beautiful Plainfield, Connecticut. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. 7-0, Wolverines are on top. As you were, people, keep preparing for the big day. We'll have the rest of the game for you when we come back right here on Wolverine Radio.
Radio, home of your Grizzle Wolverines. We are live at Plainfield High School. The score is 7-0 at halftime. Grizzled on top. About 17 minutes left in halftime. I have a special guest with us at halftime. It's Mark Allard, who we all know from the Bulletin. He also is now Woodstock Academy's, I believe, director, right? For
Sports Information Director, absolutely.
And so, Mark, what do you see in this game so far between the Wolverines and Plainfield?
Domination by Griswold. Really, when you look at it, the line has been all of Griswold's defensively. Not necessarily offensively, but defensively it has been. I mean, Plainfield has only been able to account for 26 yards so far in total offense. Their longest offensive play, 6 yards. They've had 1 first down. So when you look at it defensively, Griswold totally dominant. Offensively, Griswold has not really moved the ball on the ground all that well when you really look at it. 54-63, about 58 yards. 33 of those by Koziel, of course, the quarterback, just 4 carries, and 21 yards for Sims, and most of those going up the gut. But where they have really prospered has been Koziel throwing the football, 130 yards, completing 6 of 11. And, of course, a couple of big completions there down in the 20 to 30-yard range.
Yeah, it's very good game so far, like we said. Griswold, since I am on the sideline with them right now, it's weather is affecting him right now. Koziel just went out after that last defensive play. His leg was a little hurt. He should be back. We saw this before earlier in the season. We also have Patrick Strain, who's one of the corners on for Griswold. It's funny because he's actually wearing his winter gloves for this game instead of wearing his actual football gloves. So he actually is trying to get the grip with that. He's also trying to keep his hands warm because that is definitely affecting the play for both sides, is the weather and also the wind on the pass game and on the run game as well.
The interesting thing about this, of course, is that I know a lot of people have been saying, well, if Plainfield loses, they are out. That's not necessarily true. Seymour would have to win for Plainfield to be out of the Class S playoffs, even if they lose to Griswold tonight. And from what I last checked, and I can't find a score here, but with 39 seconds left, I do believe in the game, Woodland Regional led Seymour 14-12. So at this point, if Seymour loses, if that score holds, Plainfield's in. And we'll know that very shortly, that Plainfield would be in the Class S playoffs with that loss by Seymour. And they would be, unless, of course, they win. And, in fact, even if they win here, I can double-check the points. I do believe they would be number 8 seed because the Woodland victory would keep them ahead of Plainfield. So Plainfield could not advance past that number 8 seed. Cromwell Portland was winning. Bloomfield has won. I'm trying to think of who else is there. HK has won. So I think the only one they could have caught was Woodland. If they indeed do beat Seymour, then they cannot do that. They'd be the number 8 seed, likely heading to Ansonia on Tuesday to take on the number 1 seeded Chargers.
All right, so when we come back, we'll hopefully get the final score of that game. We'll also go into looking for the prediction of the rest of this game. You're listening to Griswold Wolverine Football only on Wolverine Radio. Coverage of Griswold Wolverine Football on the Thanksgiving special, the day before Thanksgiving, due to the weather. It was Griswold's up 7-0 at half. Mark just saw the final score of that game we were talking about before.
Woodland Regional defeated Seymour 14-12, and what that means is the Plainfield Panthers have clinched a Class S playoff berth. Win or lose tonight does not matter. They have clinched the 8th seed. They cannot go past Woodland. so they'll be playing the number 1 seed, either Ansonia or Bullard Havens. If Ansonia loses tomorrow to Naugatuck, Bullard Havens would be the number 1 seed. That would be a very good thing for Plainfield. Will that happen? Naugatuck's got 9 wins. They're a double L school, or a L school. So from that point of view, could they beat Ansonia? One would think yes, but Plainfield definitely will get a chance to play either Bullard Havens or Ansonia.
Yeah, last year going into the playoffs, we saw one of the local teams win the whole thing last year, led by Gatorade Player of the Year Spencer Lockwood, Killingly winning the championship last year in their division. I believe they were Class S as well.
Class M last year.
Class M. So yeah, they were in Class M last year, winning the whole thing. Now we go back. We are going about 11 minutes away from the second half. And, Mark, you were talking about the pass game and the run game for both teams and the defense. What are you looking forward to in the second half by both teams?
Well, Plainfield has to make some adjustments. Plainfield's got to create some offense. They have not done that extremely well. Obviously, as in the first half indicated, they have to be able to move the football somewhere. Kyle Holt, Bryce Carchidi, Lucian Doobie, all of them have basically been put down or held down anyway. As we said, under 40 yards in total offense. Liam Smith 0 for 3 with an interception, has not been able to throw the football all that well. The Panthers have to come up with something. Remember, there is still something on the line here. The Eastern Connecticut Conference Division III title. That's bragging rights. And between these two towns, that's important. So if you're Plainfield, you want to come out and do something here in the second half. If you're Griswold, you stay the course. As long as you don't allow a Plainfield score with a 7-0 lead, you're in great shape. There's no question about that.
And obviously right now Plainfield does not know that they're in it because they haven't seen the score yet. They haven't seen the final score.
I have a feeling someone might in that locker room monitoring what was going on the other side. And just as a thought that they might definitely do that. But just looking at the final point totals, obviously if Plainfield wins here, there'll be 1180, 1230, 1240. They could tie HK at 1260. But the problem is Haddam Killingworth has 82 tiebreaker points to 78 for Plainfield. So I do believe that would keep them in the number 8 slot. And they have indeed clinched that berth. Bullard Havens has 1,530. They are 160 ahead right now of Ansonia. But remember, Ansonia with that game against Class L Naugatuck would get 100 points with a win, 90 more points with a win because of Naugatuck's 9 wins, 10 points, or I should say 20 points for the additional 2 classes that they move up, and they still have 50 bonuses. So Ansonia could easily clear Bullard Havens. However, if they lose, Bullard Havens would be the top seed. Now, that's still in Plainfield's favor. If Naugatuck could pull off a win over Ansonia, Plainfield's whistling Dixie.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a Bullard Havens matchup. The only problem with that is, of course, and Ansonia would drop down to number 2. You'd have Bloomfield in that mix, and Bloomfield was the last team that Plainfield played in the state tournament, and didn't do so well against the Warhawks. So certainly something to be concerned with.
Yeah, and for Griswold, like we got Plainfield, obviously they have that to look forward to. Griswold, this is their last game of the season.
Absolutely.
For them, so they're seniors. All their guys want to try to get this one for them. Obviously, we were here a couple years ago, and we all know what happened. Big story. That was it, where Plainfield actually did beat the streak and took the trophy back from Griswold. Griswold now looking to recreate that streak, starting with 2 in a row this year.
You're right. This would be their second consecutive if they could win here tonight. So certainly that's the potential is there for them to start building. This would be their 15th win in 16 games. That's a pretty good streak if you're Griswold anyway. It gives you the Division III championship. It gives you bragging rights for another year. You know what? That would make you 6-4. That's not a bad year. Especially considering your schedule, which was pretty difficult with teams like Trumbull and Sheehan and things along those lines. So, indeed, no question that this would be a good season for the Wolverines.
All right, so we have 8 minutes left in halftime before we go back. 7-0 Griswold on top. And once we come back, we will hear once again from Pastor Josh and Sean Anderson for the second half of this game. Thank you, Mark Allard, as well. And we will see you in the second half of this game.
Back to Plainfield High School. Mike Minarski along with you here at Plainfield High as Griswold has a 7-0 lead at the half. Sean Anderson, how are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
So how do you feel? How do you feel about being back in the booth, brother?
Oh, it's interesting. It's fun. It's fun.
You got,
a little cold.
A little bit, huh?
A little bit.
I had to throw you back in there right when it was freezing.
I know.
This is like the only warming center in the entire town of Plainfield right now.
Yeah, and then before the game starts, you sent me out in the blizzard that we had for like 2 minutes to get your phone out of your car.
Well, you told me that you had these electric long johns on, so you were like nice and toasty, and you were going to be fine. You know, so yeah. Well, at least you got a sense of humor about it.
Oh yeah.
Everybody around here is about ready to snap like an icicle for crying out loud.
Luckily for me, my auntie Patty and my grandma came to the game, and my auntie Patty brought hand warmers. And she gave me hand warmers for the game, so I should be good for the second half.
You're good, huh? Look at Kyle Gunderman. He's got hand warmers. They're called pockets.
Not working.
They're not working? Kyle Gunderman
I'll split them with you if you want.
Kyle Gunderman, of course, is doing the video portion of the broadcast on YouTube, which you can go to and watch the second half. But, oh, my God.
He does a great job, I got to say. Kyle does a tremendous job. Whenever I would go and watch the YouTube for the first half of the game, and then I would come for the second half and watch the second half of the game, and he does a tremendous job. It's really, really great stuff.
So we're going to give the headset over to a young lady named Ariana. Is it Ariana or is it Ariana?
Ariana.
So you are interning with us here at Wolverine Radio.
Yes, I am.
And so your first official assignment was tonight.
Yes.
And so what were you doing?
I was over by the concession stand selling T-shirts for both Plainfield and Griswold. Kind of do a little rivalry. The proceeds are going to whichever the winning team is of this game. Their athletic department is going to receive those proceeds. So.
Well, one thing that Steve Cravino, the athletic director of Griswold, told me that if Griswold does pull this game out and if they do win, the money will go to Unified Sports. So
wow, that's amazing.
That'll be awesome.
Shout out to Griswold for that.
Yeah, so I don't know what's happening with Plainfield. Jan Volan hasn't told us where, if they win, where she wants the money to go. So it's their choices. But how many shirts did you sell over there tonight? You and Melissa.
We sold probably about 10 to 15 shirts.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was
Not
great.
Bad.
No. I'm not going to lie. There were some more Plainfield than there were Griswold, I think, tonight.
Well, that's okay because coming into tonight, there were around 40, 50 Griswold shirts sold and
awesome.
6 Plainfield shirts. So,
okay.
So, but, it doesn't matter as long as that there's money available for the donation. And
exactly.
We had a lot of great sponsors up on there, including Pub 45 in Jewett City, Lathrop Vending. Of course, they live in Griswold.
Okay.
Mark Lathrop and his wife, Lynn, who just had a birthday, as a matter of fact.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday. So those are a couple of sponsors. We'll run into them as well. But anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm
glad
to be here. Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, as we change into the out of Wolverine Radio into our new duds called SNSN, we're going to be doing about almost 40 basketball games, including games from your alma mater.
Yes, Norwich Free Academy, home of the Wildcats.
We're going to be carrying some Wildcat games, and we'll be doing that. In basketball season. That's going to start on the 12th of December, I believe, is going to be our first game. Sean Anderson will be back as well.
Awesome.
Doing games. Sean Sass will be doing basketball. Inside, yeah. Definitely
Keywords,
inside. Right? KT Kevin Thompson, he'll be in there as well, doing basketball, and I'll do some as well. And geez, we got Ted Koziel that's going to do some games.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a great staff.
We do. We got a great team. Phil Michelle? What game's he doing? What's he doing? Oh, that's right, he did. Him and I actually did we actually did wrestling.
Wow.
We did a live one from at Griswold one time. It was just him and I. Well, he used to wrestle, so.
Okay.
What's that, Kyle? Yeah, you know, that would be kind of fun. Anderson's like, no,
super
no, no,
fun.
no, 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 no. I could do that. Phil could do that. You know, we could get a couple of people doing wrestling. You wouldn't know what you're talking about, Sass. And it's inside, too, Sass. So you'll be good. All right, we're going to hand the microphones back to the people who actually know what they're doing when it comes to football.
Right?
Which is certainly not me. So here we go. Let's. Where's Pastor Josh? Is he here? Oh, he's napping. Oh, that's good. It's okay. Oh, he's looking at the trophy. He wants to bring it home to Griswold. It is time. It is time to come back. So it's just under 2 minutes to go before we hit the second half. Griswold is up 7-0. Like the gentleman were talking earlier, it's all about time of possession. And so far in this game, Griswold has done that. And let me ask you, Plainfield's only had 1 third down conversion?
That's correct, I think, right? Only 1 third down
That's it?
conversion? Only 1 first down. And it was on that third down conversion, and they just got it by like a yard.
Okay.
Very close.
All right, we'll see what happens. Here you go, Josh. Back to you.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks for the great halftime coverage that was provided by Wolverine Radio, Sean Sass and Mark Allard from the Norwich Bulletin, with some fascinating stats and figures from the first half of action here in Plainfield. Of course, 7-0 is the score during the halftime. I had a chance to take a look at the trophy, which has been bouncing back and forth up and down Route 12 now since 1937, which means that this is the 81st time that these two teams have met. Now, 2 years ago, which was the first time I covered this game, Griswold lost 24-0.
28-0.
28-0.
Sorry.
And last year we won 12-0. And so we'll see what happens. So far, 7-0 is the score. We seem to have a 0 thing going, this being the 81st time these teams have met. Now, what I don't know is if they've always met on Thanksgiving or if they've ever had to meet on a different day. I see. Kyle Gunderman, our videographer, is saying that the Thanksgiving iteration of this competition is relatively new, that it wasn't always held on Thanksgiving. Of course, this year we're playing on Thanksgiving Eve because it's warm today. That's why. Because it's so warm right now. 34 degrees is the temperature on the field, but with the wind chill, it's got to be close to the teens or single digits.
Oh, it felt like that. I was walking around at halftime, and I went over to the Griswold side, and it was cold.
Yeah, it's freezing out there tonight, folks. But a great crowd is here, and if you haven't come or if you missed the first half, by all means, join us here for the second half. There is some room in the stands. Of course, this is a great game to watch, and if you're going to stay home tonight,
Pick a good night.
understandable with the preparations for tomorrow, you can catch us online. Live video coverage being provided as well by Wolverine Radio. Here's the second half kickoff. Chris Thibodeau with the kickoff here for the Wolverines. Big hit, number 80 for the Plainfield Panthers, brings the ball up to the 45-yard line.
Zach Confer on the return.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Plainfield Panthers here. Best field position of the night, I believe, for the Panthers
Pretty
is what
close.
we're looking at right now. Mike Minarski is showing me something which I cannot see because I'm old and blind. Oh, yes, this picture. Wow, where is that picture of a TV? Wow, okay. Well, the Merchant family is joining us on YouTube. The coverage tonight with the video graphics are simply amazing. Wow, big play here by the Panthers. Streaking down the field is Doobie. Chappelle in chase, not able to catch the Panthers. Panthers with a touchdown here in the opening seconds of the second half of the game. A 55-yard run by Doobie as the perfect defense has not perfect anymore.
Yes, they had him wrapped up in the backfield, but he spun and he got really low, changed the center of gravity, and he got down just low enough and spun out of the tackle and took off and got on his horse.
What a play there by Lucien Doobie. What an effort there to bring the score now. 6 points on the field here by the Panthers as they're going to
run the monster.
Go for 2 here.
And now they come back. They're going to kick the PAT.
Now they're going to kick the extra point. So
Lucien Doobie is trailing E-Dog in points after.
Oh, this kick is going to run wide for the Panthers. So he does not have the magical
Wolverine 7.
E-Dog,
underwear.
Yeah, no, it must. Evan can keep my underwear. He can keep my long johns, I guess. Must be working for him.
So 7-6 is the score here in the opening seconds of the second half here in Plainfield. What a shocker. Boy, no one saw that happening after seriously the longest run of the evening, I think, was 5 or 6 yards by the Panthers to open it up with a 55-yard scamper. Woo!
Griswold, even though they're just barely ahead, they have to score. They have to keep going ahead now because Plainfield has obviously changed something that Griswold didn't expect.
Yeah.
So now they have to come out with their second half adjustments, and they have to score and keep this going.
Well, like we said 100 times, that in high school football, 2 scores is a tie.
Yes.
So now the game is actually almost tied, just a 1-point spread here between the two teams. Griswold missing a number of opportunities in the first half to add some points to the board. They're going to wish they had called things a little bit differently in the first half. They tried a new play tonight, which I've never seen them do before, which is direct snap to Thibodeau. And the first time did not work. The second time it didn't work. A for effort there,
right.
But you know what works for the Wolverines? 3 yards shoving forward.
Right. And then a pass at some point.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens here in the second half. It's a ball game. The Wolverines here trying to recover the kickoff, and I'll tell you, the Wolverines
looks
just
like
sloppy attempt there. I believe the Wolverines recovered the ball, but that was a near thing.
That was close.
By the Wolverines.
That was very, very close.
I believe that was Jaden Curtin Quinn there, who was trying to haul the ball down. He reached over his head trying to bring the ball down and bobbled it, went to ground, and the ball came out but recovered it. So 1st and 10 Wolverines from their own 30-yard line here. Only 30 seconds taken off the clock.
Quick scoring update. East Lyme is on top of Waterford 14-7 with 11:48 left.
Handoff goes up the middle.
Wolverines running the ball there, starting out the first play of their game in the second half. A run to the right. Chris Thibodeau picked up a few yards for the Wolverines, bringing up 2nd and 7. From the 33-yard line in Wolverine territory. One of the things that was magical about the first half of play were those Koziel-Thibodeau 20, 30-yard completions, which I don't know, honestly, with it being so cold and, again, throwing into the wind, if we're going to see much of that this quarter. It's a run up the middle here with, this time, Michael Sims. I tell you what, this guy just doesn't stop.
He just keeps rolling.
If you take out his feet, he goes on his knees. You take out his knees, he rolls.
Got him close.
So 3rd and 3 here now for the Wolverines. 2 3-yard runs are the initial effort from the Wolverines.
Probably a run up the middle. They tried running to the outside on 3rd downs in the first half. It didn't work. So
Not really.
It's been working running up the middle, running down their throats.
Yeah, that's correct. That's a good observation there, Sean. From the line of scrimmage as Koziel takes the snap, fakes the handoff, going back to throws Koziel to his left, looking, and it's intercepted, underthrown, and it's Doobie comes up with a big interception for the Panthers. They're having a hard time bringing him down. Finally brought down inside the 50-yard line. It was one of the captains, number 57, making a stop there.
There was a flag.
Johnny Falco. Boy, I tell you what, I believe it was Logan Chappelle. I'm sorry, C.J. Matson was the intended receiver, but that ball was underthrown by about 3 yards. Picked off by Doobie and returned.
He's having a good half.
Boy, you could say that. He's down. It's 1st and 10 for the Plainfield Panthers from the Wolverine 40-yard line.
Yeah.
Now they're walking it back. There was a penalty assessed. Must have been a personal foul.
Looked like it.
It was a 10-yard penalty. Block in the back. Thank you, guys. Block in the back was assessed against the Panthers there on that pick by Doobie. And so they walk off 10 yards. And that's going to bring up 1st and 10 for the Panthers from midfield. Wow, the Panthers have come out swinging.
And that's at least the 5th time that Koziel has thrown into double coverage. A quick update, Ram is beating Bacon Academy 49-0. A beat 'em final.
Low snap to number
16.
Number 16 on the run there is a low snap to Smith, the quarterback. He was able to pick up the snap and then pitch it to number 16, who was able to run forward to the near side of the field and pick up about 5 yards for the Panthers. Number 16 is Henry Russell.
It seems like Plainfield is running more to the outside instead of running up the middle, which is what they did in the first half, and it's working right now for them.
Panthers have come to life in a big way here at halftime. From the line of scrimmage this time, it's Smith, takes the snap, and it's a handoff to number 21, the big producer from the first half for the Panthers, and he's lucky if he made it back to the line of scrimmage on that play.
And NFA is on top of New London, 26-7 with 11:55 left in the game.
Wow.
Another scoring update.
Ariana, what year did you graduate from NFA? That was like yesterday.
A couple years ago.
Uh-huh. I graduated 20 years before you. Yeah. Here come the Panthers from the line of scrimmage.
Ooh.
Big play there by number 50 for the Wolverines. Drop Doobie in the backfield. Steven Sims makes a big hit there, trying to slow down this Panther offense.
Griswold needed that badly.
That right there, as good as a defensive effort as the Wolverines made in the first half, that might have been the defensive play of the game right there. Because with the momentum right now, that was huge for big stop there.
Low snap.
Fourth down, low snap, botch punt, having to run is Doobie,
no,
avoiding all the tackles, running downfield, and then swarmed down at the 35-yard line. He's going to pick up a first down for the Panthers after a botched punt. Doobie's magical.
That's deflating right now for Griswold. Just when you almost have the tides shifted your way, Plainfield does something like that, and they keep themselves alive.
So Steven Sims came up big with the defensive stop there for the Wolverines, but I'll tell you right now, the second half is all Lucian Doobie, as the snap was low. It was a ground ball. He picked it up and ran for the first down. Plainfield still has the ball in Wolverine territory, 35-yard line, 1st and 10. Number 21 looking to find his way through the middle. Big stop there by Andrew Koziel as he stepped up and put a big hit on number 21, Kyle Holt, the primary running back for the Panthers, but it's really all about Doobie right now. 55-yard touchdown.
Griswold's looking tired right now there.
A 20, 30-yard scamper after a botch punt.
You can't have that if
interception by Doobie. Wow.
He's definitely the second half MVP.
No kidding. And number 21, Kyle Holt running the ball up the middle. The Wolverine defense stopping the play, but I think that's going to be a first down or real close for the Panthers. Picked up about 4 or 5 yards on that play.
They're moving.
Let's see what the side judges decide here. No, it's going to be third short for the Panthers. Boy, that was close.
It's going to be another run play.
Well, the Panthers, the first half, they were either getting -2 to +1 or 3 yards per average carry. Now they're getting 3 to 6 yards per average carry, all positive. So, you know, whether it's the temperature or because the Wolverines won the time of possession game in the first half, even though not converting them to as many points as they could have, bringing the chains out to measure, it's so short, 3rd and short.
And you have to go back to that play where they ran the Wildcat on.
Yeah.
Was it 4th and short?
It was 3rd and goal from that 1 yard line.
And they botched it.
And then they got lost, and then it was back 4th and 10. And couldn't bring it in, so.
You got to figure, I mean, they must be kicking themselves in the foot. They had a touchdown in their sights.
They did.
And they tried to get tricky and fancy, and it didn't work.
7-6, it's only a 1-point game. In the second half, we're only 5 minutes into the third quarter of play in the second half, but it's all Panthers right now. Time of possession, yards, interception, just really on the march right now. 3rd and inches, and it looks like it's going to be a first down for the Panthers.
And you can definitely see the tides shifting in favor of Plainfield right now.
Yeah, momentum's
crowd's into it. Everybody's into it. The sideline is jumping up. They're excited.
You have to wonder if, in fact, they did hear, as was reported at halftime, that they had a possibility for a playoff position and actually clinched it because of an Ansonia loss, if that fired them up enough to come out and say, you know what, we're not going into the playoffs with a loss under our belt. We're going to maintain 9-1, make it 10-1, and go into the playoffs. Doobie looking to pound the ball forward. The Wolverines make the stop there. Picked up a couple yards on that play. But here's the factor. Here's what we know is that honestly what needs to happen right here is the Wolverines just need to settle down.
Right.
Because they dominated the first half. They did not capitalize on their field position, but nothing has essentially changed.
Right. And you could start to see that. Koziel trying to get pass happy and trying to just throw it deep every time when he had checkdowns wide open.
What's also we've seen from the Wolverines this year is that they will wear down their opponents. They play physical football, and after a while, the bottom line is whether it's a smaller school or a school like Killingly, they wear their opponents down physically. They're just a tough team that can endure through the third and fourth quarter like few others that we see in this league. So Wolverines here come up with a couple of stops, bringing up 3rd and long for the Panthers.
Here we go. It's another 3rd down and long. You have to get a stop here. But they're so far into Griswold territory, I wouldn't be surprised if they went for it.
Join us on YouTube. The ball's on the 26-yard line right now in Wolverine territory. Smith, the quarterback, is going to take the snap from the line of scrimmage for this critical 3rd down. Back to throw, under pressure, out of the pocket. He finds number 21, who cannot bring it down. Let's see, and there is a flag on the play. It's nowhere near where the pass was, so it might have been, well, it's going to be hard to say.
I saw a 54-pound in the air.
It could be a holding call, possibly,
or
from
maybe
that position in the field.
Ineligible man downfield, maybe. Maybe he was too far downfield.
Boy, this could be a big penalty here for the Panthers if it goes their way, as that was an incomplete pass. And it's going to bring up 4th and 7 or 8 for them, unless this penalty turns things around for them. They're walking it off. Nope, he's just
ineligible man downfield.
Wow! That is a painful call. So for the first time in the second half, we're just beginning to see a little bit of a halt to this tide that came out.
Well, they're
going to
go for it, I think. Timeout taken first, it looks like.
Timeout here called on the field, 7-6. We've got a game, folks, here. It's the 81st time we've done it. You don't want to miss it. We're going to take a quick break and come back with a critical 4th down effort here by the Panthers. You're listening to Griswold High School Football on Wolverine Radio. Welcome back, Griswoldians, to the 81st time we've done this here. It's the Wolverines versus the Panthers in Plainfield tonight. We've got a ball game, 5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter of play, 7-6. The Panthers came out after halftime looking to play some football. We don't know if it's because they received some good news about their playoff standings over halftime, or if it was a pep talk, or what the deal was, but my goodness, and it's all been Lucian Doobie. Lucian Doobie has been responsible for a touchdown, an interception, and a big first down after a botched punt attempt. It is now 4th and 9 for the Panthers. They're going for it here. Here's the snap.
Double pass.
It's a lateral to number 2, who's looking to throw into the end zone. Nobody in sight. That is an incomplete pass. Let's see. I do not see any flag on the play.
Got a little lucky.
That was Cade Wolak looking to hook up with Lucian Doobie there in the end zone. That play never really didn't feel, it wasn't even close.
And I've heard from sources that
change of possession turkey just walked across the field. Love that change of possession turkey.
I've heard that Griswold, when they were watching film, they watched all the trick plays that Playfield ran.
Because they threw in a double coverage there. They had Doobie double covered.
Right. And they knew what to expect.
Here comes Koziel from the line of scrimmage, hands the ball off to number 35.
Ball's out.
Ball is out.
like he was
Thibodeau
down.
fumbles, and it looks like Plainfield has come up with the ball, but let's see what the
I
ruling
thought he
is on
was
the
down.
field.
And it's recovered by the Panthers. First down.
They are signaling 1st and 10 for the Panthers. I believe that was Thibodeau on the carry there. That ball came out before he was down.
He didn't have both hands on the ball. Turnovers when we talk about the
Here's
open.
the turnover turkey. Change of possession, turnover turkey. You can see it live with our video coverage of tonight's game. Broadcasting live from the Grizzled Pride booth. 81st time we've done this, and unbelievable how the momentum has shifted here from the Wolverines to the Panthers. That was a fumble by Thibodeau. Kyle, Sean, we cannot get out of our own way right now.
I know. When we talk about in the open, it's turnovers.
From the shotgun, it's a handoff to number 1. What a play by Steven Sims again. Coming up with a big stop there. Hits Stubby in the backfield for a loss, bringing up 2nd and, oh my goodness.
And Sims is saving this.
2nd and 15.
Defense is behind right now. He's
He is.
really saving them.
Look at Doobie. He's favoring his left leg. He's favoring
Yep,
his.
he's limping.
He's his little gimpy, but he's running off the field. That would not be good for the Panthers right now. Their offensive effort right now seems to be all Lucian Doobie. He's going to take a break and stretch out a little bit.
They send out Connor Peasley to replace him.
They're working on his left shin, his left ankle, his left calf. Honestly, it's probably just a cramp from the cold.
Right.
I think he's going to be fine. He'll probably be back in. 2nd and 15 for the Panthers in Wolverine territory. Standard formation here. 21 in motion, looking to run the ball up the middle. He's going to get about a 3 or 4 yard gain out of that
Almost
run.
got back to almost got back the yards they lost.
So it's going to be 3rd and it looks like 11 or 12 here for the Panthers. Another big 3rd down. Man alive. Now, we've seen some interesting things from the Panthers offensively here, and defensively, of course, they've been stunning with, of course, a big Doobie interception there. What do we got here? An update. Love the turnover turkey. Shout out to Josh and Sean. Great job. Well, thank you. That's from our friend Lori. Thanks for watching the game tonight. Of course, you can see this game online. Back to throw is Smith. He's got time. He gets flushed out of the pocket, connects with his receiver. I believe it was number 21 was the intended receiver. Sure enough, not enough there to convert a 1st down. It's going to bring up 4th and basically 10 for the Panthers.
And they're probably going for it again.
I tell you what, that was a gutsy call because Smith just avoided being sacked after about another 10-yard loss, but was able to get the ball out.
Wolak is coming in now. They're taking out Peasley, so they probably want something deep. Peasley is more like a tight end, so they probably want somebody speedier that can get down the field quicker.
Yeah, honestly, Sean, you never know. As nice as a 1st down would be right now, 6 points would be nicer. And the way the Panthers are playing right now and the momentum that they have, we'll see if they make that kind of a gutsy call or not. Whistle's out. It's going to be a timeout call by Plainfield. They want some time to talk about this. We're going to take a quick break. Another big 4th down for Plainfield here. They're going to come back with another gutsy play, I'm sure. 7-6. The Wolverines maintain their 1-point lead, but it's all about Plainfield right now. You're listening to Grizzled High School football right here on Wolverine Radio. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, everybody. You've got a game going on here in Plainfield. Lucian Doobie is back in the game for the Plainfield Panthers. It's 7-6, and I tell you what, the Panthers are on a tear right now. 4th and 10 in Wolverine territory. Just took a timeout to talk about this important play from the shotgun. Smith, low snap, bad snap. Looking to get the ball out, under pressure, gets the ball out, incompleted pass. It's going to be a change of possession. Show me the turkey. There it is. Here comes the turnover turkey, the change of possession turkey. Wolverines 1st and 10 in their own territory here.
Grizzled has to capitalize. They've had 2 chances. They've stopped Plainfield on 4th down 2 times in a row now. And then they fumbled on their first play the last time. So they have to establish a run game. They have to choose some clock. And they have to find a way to get points on the board.
We need to get out of this third quarter.
I
It's
know.
wretched for the Wolverines.
And it's getting colder and colder, so passing the football is going to be even harder now. It's going to be running all the way to the end, most likely.
From the line of scrimmage, looking left, looking right, taking the snap, handing the ball off over the middle. Same play that resulted in a fumble last time results in a Chris Thibodeau gain of about 5 yards.
Gives a running back confidence, though, even though he made a mistake on the last drive, to go right back to him. It gives him confidence.
That's a good call. That's good to see.
Right.
Thibodeau's a good kid. He's a great athlete, and I've enjoyed getting to know him over the years, and, of course, now getting to see him play. We used to play football at Veterans Memorial Park at the Youth Center when he was in middle school, him and Franklin and a few other guys. Sean Sass was out there, too, back in the day. It's nice to see them playing football and, of course, running the ball down the field. Michael Sims on the carry there. A couple yards for the Wolverines. Ground and pound right up the gut, up the middle.
Got to convert here.
Reminding the Panthers that they can dominate.
Right.
But we've got to get a first down here.
They have to.
3rd and 2 or 3 here for the Wolverines.
You only get so many chances to get points on the board. You've controlled the time of possession.
But you haven't put points on the board. Right now the snap is going to come from their own 37-yard line. It's a handoff to looking to contain the end. It's Anthony Franklin for the first time tonight. Finally brought out of bounds. That was a horse collar, folks, if I've ever seen one. Wow, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25-yard gain there by Anthony Franklin. First down with a horse collar. That's going to put the ball deep in Plainfield territory inside the 40-yard line. Anthony Franklin coming up with a big run right when we needed it.
We got 73, Aiden Oberg limping off to the sideline.
For the Panthers.
Personal foul against the
And
Panthers.
Griswold gets a lot of yards.
So right now, Anthony Franklin was forced out of bounds at the 40-yard line. He took off like a shot out of a cannon.
Right.
But that's going to bring it up 1st and 10 from the Panther 20.
Good blocking by the right side of the line. And I think Thibodeau, was he blocking for him? He had a blocker in front of him.
I got all excited.
Like a fullback. And
I didn't see who it was.
I believe it was Thibodeau, and he helped set that edge.
Set the edge. Critical. Koziel now inside the 25-yard line, looking downfield. Handoff to, again, I believe that's Franklin on the carry. He picked up maybe a yard.
And we're seeing Michael Sims back there. It's like you're blocking fullback. So I believe he was the one, not that was blocking on the edge, not Thibodeau.
A couple of years ago, we used to see the Yetton brothers play that way with each other. One would lead, one would carry. It was a beautiful thing to see. So that's what we're seeing here tonight. Some good blocking there allowed Anthony Franklin to pick up a big rushing gain for the Wolverines. Honestly, we need to get out of this third quarter. Minute remaining in the third quarter. Franklin's going to carry us out here, it looks like. Koziel takes the snap, pitches it back to Franklin. Flag on the play.
False start, I
Didn't
think.
even let the play develop there. But they were looking to set the edge on the left-hand side. Franklin disappointed because he had a little bit of room to run, and Michael Sims was leading the way. Less than a minute remaining in the third quarter of play, 7-6. This call is going to go against the Wolverines. 5 yards.
2nd and 15. I mean, that's okay.
So somebody moved there before the snap. I didn't see it. It was kind of funny. It was kind of a late call. The play really developed before they called it, but here we have it. So it's going to bring up, let's see, second and 15,
Just
I guess.
Putting this out there, E-Dog's range is about the 20-yard line. Just putting this out there, I mean, my bias is showing a lot.
Sure,
but,
hey, man.
I mean, 20-yard line and in. Just saying, if they...
Koziel motioning, hands the ball off to Michael Sims, who runs the ball up the middle, number 54 for the Panthers on the stop there.
Got back the yards they lost. That should take us to the end of the third quarter, finally.
Boy, we need to... Yeah, we're starting to turn things around. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10 or so for the Wolverines, maybe 11.
Maybe try to draw them off sides here.
20 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Let's see if the Wolverines try. No, they're not going to try to get a playoff. So it's just a question of whether or not there's going to be a delay of game, but it doesn't look like it.
It's going to be a 3rd and 11.
So that's the third quarter of action here in Plainfield. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. 7-6. So, man, did the Plainfield Panthers, story of the third quarter is Panther, 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 and by Panther I mean Doobie.
Right.
What an effort by Lucian Doobie, who's back in the game. So fourth quarter of action coming up here. It's basically a tie ball game, 7-6. Quick break, and we're going to turn the field around, give the ball back to Koziel and crew, and finish strong here in Plainfield. Happy Thanksgiving Eve from Wolverine Radio. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, residents of Griswold and Plainfield. 12 minutes remaining in the 81st exhibition of this classic. Koziel back to throw, looking to hit down the field, overthrows his intended receiver, C.J. Matson. And so that is going to bring up 4th and a lot here for the Wolverines, 4th and 11 or so.
Got to go for it
That was
here.
a gutsy call there on 3rd down, but what are you going to do? You're not going to punt from here.
No, you're not going to punt. You're not going to kick outside of E-Dog's range.
7-6 is the score. The third quarter was all about the Panthers. The first half was all about time of possession for the Wolverines. Who knows what the fourth quarter is going to bring, as this game never fails to be more interesting than you ever think it could be after watching these guys play 80 years together. But here we go. From the line of scrimmage, Koziel takes the snap, back to throw, under pressure. He's got to get rid of that ball. It's a completed pass, but a tackle made on the play. No gain. Let's see, I believe that was number 7. Yep.
Jack Nev's car.
Jack Nev's car was completed that pass, but then had his feet taken out from underneath him immediately. And so here comes the change of possession turkey. Panthers are going to take 1st and 10 here from their own 30-yard line, basically. I tell you what the Wolverines accomplished at the closing minutes of the third quarter, hopefully we'll find out here, was to slow down the momentum, the big mo, which they were just getting steamrollered by the Plainfield Panthers. Smith, the Plainfield quarterback, takes the snap at the line of scrimmage, hands the ball off to number 21, who's been fighting hard all night tonight. But I tell you what, that play in the fourth quarter looked just like the first quarter to me.
Right. They have to keep it going. They have to. Keep getting these stops if you're Griswold.
Whole lot of nothing there for Kyle Holt, not for lack of effort, but the Griswold defense stopped that play, 2nd and 10. Now, what you pointed out in the third quarter that the Panthers were able to do that they couldn't do the first half was contain the end.
Right.
And run to the outside.
Now they're running back up the middle, though, it seems like.
They love to. Now, Doobie's lined up in the backfield. Very exciting player to watch.
They can put him anywhere they want.
Here's the snap. It's a handoff to the left-hand side of the ball, and it's to number 1, Doobie. But honestly, I think he tripped over his own feet.
Could be a hold.
Now, we know that his left calf muscle was cramping up just a few minutes ago. They worked on him, and he's gesturing to the sideline.
Waving it off.
Because he's saying, I think he's cramping up again on his left calf. So honestly, I think he tripped up on that play as he crossed the line of scrimmage, and then, of course, the defense was there to meet him. But it's going to bring up
2nd and...
this should be 3rd and 7. First play was to Holt for a gain of basically nothing.
Switched.
And then Doobie carried it about 3 yards as he tripped, as he crossed the line of scrimmage and then brought down. So 3rd and 6 or 7 here for the Panthers. Kyle Gunderman, our videographer, is providing down coverage, even though it's not here on the scoreboard, so he knows what's going on. Take a look at the coverage on YouTube. It's a pitch to Holt, looking to come around the near side of the ball. Wolverine stuffed, and a flag on the play. You think so?
I think that's a hit to the helmet.
Well, it seems
hit him
the
too
call
high.
is going to be. That was one of our captains there, Corey Carr, in on the stop. Let's see what the penalty is going to be assessed. This could be an important penalty for the Panthers here. It could also be holding against the Panthers. Let's see what happens. The Wolverines are not giving up any ground from where the ball was marked right now.
Making some substitutions, taking 58 out, which is Shamari Richards. They take him out.
Boy, he's been a producer this year. Koziel going to the sidelines, too.
They brought in Chai
It was holding against the Panthers.
Oh, declined. They declined the penalty because it's now 4th down.
So we'll keep the 4th down rather than taking the penalty, which was holding against the Panthers. So that was a big call there against the Panthers at a very critical down. It's going to bring up 4th and 6 or so, right? What has Kyle got? 4th and 7, yeah.
Yes. And they got to, it's going to be you got to think about a fake punt here.
Well, with Doobie, they put Doobie back in. Now we know that his left calf has been cramping up a little bit, but he's looking fine now.
Oh, now they accept it?
Oh, they accepted the penalty.
They accepted it. That's weird.
Okay, so
can they do that?
The answer appears to be yes.
Making rules up as we go now. That's fun. Happy Thanksgiving. Let's just have a free-for-all and see what happens.
All right, so replay of 3rd down, and it's going to bring up 3rd and, 16 or 17 now for the Panthers. So they were lining up for a punt, but then that changed as they have a replay of 3rd down. From the line of scrimmage, Smith is going to take the snap. He pitches it back to 21. We've seen this play before. Looking to come around the end. The end was not contained. Number 18 on the stop there for the Wolverines. Patrick Strain comes up with a big stop for the Wolverines.
And whether that was legal or not, that worked out in favor of Griswold because now they backed him up even further.
Yeah.
Can't talk.
So they're going to snap it from the inside the 25, which means they're going to kick it from about the 10 or the 12, which means they're going to catch it right around midfield. Sure enough, that's where the Wolverines are lining up now. Number 5, Logan Chappelle, back to catch the ball. Here's the punt. Beautiful punt there by the Panthers. Cleanly caught by Chappelle. Running to his right, number 16 is on the hunt. He gets a block from number 50. He's got some room to run on the right-hand side, forced out of bounds by number 57. For the Panthers, Caleb Gibson finally ends that play, but wow, a 30-some-odd yard return.
Great return
by Logan Chappelle.
And that ball must have been hard to catch, too. I'm sure it's hard as a rock by now.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
And it's probably a little wet. The field's wet.
Did I miss the change of possession turkey? There he is. Change of possession turkey marching across the field. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. I tell you what, I'm cautiously optimistic that the Big Mo, the momentum from the 3rd quarter, has dissipated. And now the Wolverines are going to have a chance to respond here.
Don't jinx anything. We got 9.5 minutes to go.
No, there's no jinx. But we can obviously see that the 3rd quarter is in our past now, which is a good thing for the Wolverines. It's a handoff up the middle to the Wolverines. I believe that's Michael Sims trying to pound the ball forward. He doesn't gain hardly anything there on that first attempt.
They actually gave him a decent spot, maybe 4 yards? Maybe?
No way.
No. From my angle, it looks like
I think a yard. I think they gave him a yard.
I got a bad angle.
Which still looks pretty generous to me. Not for lack of effort. That young man is an amazing offensive force of nature.
Can't bring him down easily.
No, he doesn't stop. Not till he hears the whistle.
It took 5 guys to take him down.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we go, 2nd and 9 for the Wolverines. Koziel motioning with his right foot in the motion in the backfield. It's a fake handoff. Big block there by C.J. Matson, giving time to Koziel to connect in the end zone. Touchdown, Wolverines. What a play. What a block. Number 22, Marone Matt DePonte with the catch. That play was made possible by a massive block by C.J. Matson.
Definitely.
He gave Koziel the time he needed to find DePonte in the end zone. Now, we haven't seen DePonte as an intended receiver tonight, so it was only single coverage.
Right. And
really good play calling there.
Looks like they're going to go for 2 now, make it a, what is that, 9-point game, so they want to make it a 2-possession ball game here.
13-6 is the score right now. Wow, cannot say enough. Hats off to C.J. Matson. What a block, making that pass complete And the score for the Wolverines, it's a handoff to Michael Sims, and he's just not going to stop, but he comes up short for the 2-point conversion. So the Panthers saved themselves a 2-point conversion. Wow, but that was a great play call there to use a receiver that we haven't seen so far tonight, Matt DePonte, and it was that same play for a 20 or 30-yard gain on the right-hand side of the ball this time, made possible by an incredible block by C.J. Matson. Man, he took a big hit, and it's so cold tonight. That had to hurt, but it was worth 6 points, 13-6. So the Panthers are going to come out here after a Wolverine kickoff. The third quarter is behind us. That's good news. The other good news is tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and you can stay inside and be warm. Wolverines on top of the Panthers. Quick break here for us here in Plainfield. Back with the conclusion of the fourth quarter. It's the 81st time we've done it. Don't miss a minute right here on Wolverine Radio. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, live from Plainfield. It's Wolverine Radio coverage of the 81st time Plainfield has played the Wolverines. Wolverines 13-6 to have the lead here as the fourth quarter is ticking away. Here's the onside kick by the Wolverines, recovered by, I believe that was Cade Wolak, right around midfield. So great field position here for the Panthers.
The ball didn't even go 10 yards,
No.
so if Griswold touched it, it'd be a penalty.
That continues to be one of life's greatest mysteries, why we don't actually kick the ball at a kickoff.
Right.
I'm sure one of these days maybe someone will explain it to me, but honestly, that's the second time tonight that we've given great field position to the Panthers after a squib kick that didn't go 10 yards. So
they're down 8 points, correct?
yes.
8?
No, 7.
No, 7. Boy, I'm bad at math.
They are down a touchdown and an extra point, a 2-point conversion for Plainfield, of course, to give them a 1-point lead. From the shotgun, it's a shovel pass forward to number 16, which we've seen him doing some heavy lifting on the defensive side of the ball, but he really only got back to the line of scrimmage on that play.
Yes. That looked like a jet sweep.
Colin Russell.
Henry Russell.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter here in Plainfield. 13-6. The Wolverines have a 7-point lead after finding DePonte in the end zone just a few minutes ago. Koziel continuing to throw the ball, even with the cold and the wind being what it is. It's a shovel pass up the middle to number 21 again. He gets a couple of yards before being brought down.
3rd and long.
3rd and 7 or so here for the Panthers. They're in Wolverine territory, which honestly they never really saw in the first half.
Except for that one play by Lucian Doobie. And it wasn't like any red zone attempts or anything. He just ran from about their own 45 into the end zone.
That was at the opening moments of the second half. That's right.
That's
in the first half, I don't know if they crossed midfield at all. I can't remember. They only had one first down. And a 5 or 6 yard run was the most they could say about the first half. And they came out with a 55-yard run by Doobie, an interception by Doobie. And then he's just been playing incredibly in the second half here. Holt gets the ball up the middle again, pounding his way forward. I'll tell you what, that was a good run for him. He picked up about 4 yards.
4th and about 4 or 5.
Boy, that's a rough spot for the Panthers.
They got to go for it.
I thought he got a little bit more than that on that
play.
Late
in the game. Clock now under 7 minutes.
Now, Doobie is lining up for the punt.
They're not punting. There's no way. There's no way they're punting.
Doobie's left calf has been a little sore, but he's been having it massaged on the sideline. It's probably just a cramp. He's back to punt right now, ostensibly, but we've seen this before, and he'll hang on to it and run. He's throwing the ball this time, and he's got number 16 wide open for the first down. The Wolverines, that play was made by Anthony Franklin. The Wolverines were not ready for that.
Oh, I saw that too. They had 2 linemen lined up in front of Russell, And so Russell just faded off to the left side of the field and just caught a pass wide open all alone.
Franklin saved the touchdown there for the Wolverines, but I'm telling you right now, that was too little too late because the Wolverines were blanked on that play.
But even if Plainfield scores, they need a 2-point conversion, so they have that going for them.
Well, this is where the Wolverine defense needs to step up and say, no, sir.
Right.
This is what needs to happen right now, is that our captains need to lead us and just shut this down because that should have never happened.
Double pass.
They've got Doobie in his quarterback, and he's sacked in the backfield. Ball's out, picked up by the Wolverines. I think he was down.
Lost some yards. They wanted to do that double pass.
Folks, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you're going to want to head over there because the Plainfield offense is calling some interesting calls. Honestly, they're kind of hard to call. They're developing so quickly. But that was a loss in yards. So it's going to bring up 2nd and 16 or 17 here, 18 for the Panthers. So a big gamble, big loss after a big gamble, big gain for the Panthers here. From the line of scrimmage, takes the snap, hands it off to number 21. And, wow, he's finally able to get some yards there.
Gets back the yards they lost.
Kyle Holt there pounding forward against the Wolverine defense. It's going to bring it up to 3rd and 10 or 11. Another big third down for this Plainfield offense. I'll tell you what.
Griswold has to step up. 2 more plays, they have to step up. Plainfield has 1 timeout. If you get a stop, keep the ball in bounds, force Plainfield to run the clock down. If they don't score, you can run the ball, and if you don't turn it over, you can pretty much run this clock to the end with a first down or 2.
Less than 5 minutes remaining in the game. Griswold maintains a 13-6 lead as Plainfield is knocking on the door.
Griswold
looks like somebody called a timeout. Plainfield called that timeout. We're going to take a quick break and come back with the completion of the 4th quarter. 13-6. Plainfield charging down the field. Let's see what happens. Happy Thanksgiving Eve from your friends right here at Wolverine Radio. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. Here's the snap. Smith rolling to his left, under pressure by the Wolverines. Intercepted by the Wolverines, and then brought down by the Panther defense. Folks, Griswold just said yes to this game. I believe it was Anthony Franklin on the interception. He's celebrating on the sidelines on the far side of the field. Sean, that was awesome.
Griswold blocked, if I could talk, Griswold brought the blitz, and it worked. It forced Smith to make a bad throw, and it looked like the ball got tipped. And that's why Griswold got the interception. Now you have to run the clock out. You have to try to. 4:43 left in this game. If you get a first down or 2, Plainfield has no timeouts. You can run this clock out and win this game. It's in Griswold's hands.
Colesville and Crew 1st and 10 from their own 15. It's a handoff to the right-hand side of the ball to Michael Sims, who's got, that's Thibodeau, who has some room to run. First down, Wolverines.
Stay in bounds, just got to keep that clock running.
Man, that was a great play to the far side of the field. They were able to cap the end there and give Thibodeau some room to run. He was able to evade the first attempt at a tackle and move the ball down the field. The Wolverines showing some spirit that they simply did not display in the 3rd quarter.
And here we go. Can they run this clock out? That's the big question.
Can they put it in the silly end zone? That's my big question.
I mean, that would be nice, but you got to play the clock now. It's
1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line. Here come the Wolverines. Less than 5 minutes remaining in the game. Thibodeau in motion on the right-hand side. It's a handoff to Michael Sims. He gets tripped up by number 34, crossing the line of scrimmage. So that was 34 on 34 there. Dylan Lyons. Connor Peasley with a big stop there for the Panthers because Michael Sims had some room to run.
Right. Well, you could see them, too, creeping up on that line of scrimmage. Plainfield did, trying to jump the snap and time it perfectly, and they pretty much did.
Still managed to pick up a couple of yards there on that play, bringing up 2nd and 8 or so. Koziel looking downfield, taking his time. Everyone's holding their position. He's just letting the clock do its thing. Smart call there. Hands the ball off to Chris Thibodeau, gets a block, and then he's wrapped up there by number 52, who is Robert Delaney there, makes the stop for the Panthers. Takes precious time off the clock. 3 minutes remaining in the ball game. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7 for the Wolverines here.
Yeah, Griswold, they can run it down to about maybe a little less than 2 minutes if they play the time right. And when they punt, it'll go to about the 35-yard line of Plainfield.
How about a first down? That's what we need to see here. Back to throws, Koziel looking to his near side.
Oh.
Off the fingertips of the Wolverines. That is an incomplete pass.
Oh,
Number 7 was the intended receiver there, Jack Nev's Carr. And he's stretched himself out as far as he could go. And maybe on a warm day, that catch might have been a miraculous catch, but just, I'm sure he can't feel his fingertips at all. It was a beautiful attempt. I mean, the play was there. He had a step on the defender. So back to punt are the Wolverines, and that's a nice punt there. Wow, look at that. Ball's going back and is caught by the Plainfield Panthers inside the 40, right around the 35-yard line in Panther territory.
2:43, Plainfield has time, and we've seen a couple of times this year where Griswold, you think that they have the game in the bag, and then a couple of surprising plays, and they're down.
Michael Sims, Steven Sims came in on that play because he just wanted to make sure that play was actually over. He put a big hit there on the Panthers, trying to knock the ball out. So obviously trying to get the ball out is in the minds of the Wolverines right now. So I missed the change of possession turkey, but I'm sure he's already sauntered across the field. 1st and 10 Panthers from their own 35-36-yard line with 2 minutes 43 seconds remaining in the game. Wolverines maintain a 7-point lead. Here come the Panthers from the shotgun. Back to throw is Smith. Completed pass, gain of about 5 yards on that play. Number 22 for the Panthers there.
Got to run a little hurry up here. Clock
Ethan Leroux with a big catch.
Clock not in your favor. Griswold's going to let that clock tick. Playfield has no timeouts. They're going to snap the ball. About 2:10 left.
2nd and 6 here for the Panthers. From the shotgun again. We know this young man can throw based off of our pregame observations. Sure enough, the right-hander unloads down the middle of the field. Wide open, incomplete pass. Intended for Leroux again. But the Wolverines were ready for that. We've seen some defensive miscues in the second half by the Wolverines that we simply did not see. And specifically, I'm talking about BB in the punt formation.
Right.
He's dangerous because you don't know what he's going to do. Even with a botched snap, he converted a first down. And the second time in that same situation, he threw for 30 yards, brought the ball inside the 15-yard line.
But you know it's 4-down territory from here on out, so
2 minutes remaining in the game, 13-6. Panthers 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 here. It's a botched snap. Picks it up. He's in trouble. Under pressure. Here come the Wolverines. Throws the ball, and it's incomplete pass. Doobie was the intended receiver. No flags.
I thought there was a chop block on Playfield in the backfield.
I'm pretty sure that was Patrick Strain that came up there with that incomplete pass effort for the Wolverines. So this brings up
the game.
A big 4th down here for the Panthers. The ball is currently spotted in their territory. The Wolverines are gesturing to the far side of the field to the frozen fans saying, give us some love right now. This is a big play.
Yes.
4th and 5, 4th and 6 from the Panther 35-yard line right now. I'm sorry, 40-yard line.
Who wants it more? All comes down to this.
Looks like it's going to be a pass as he's going to take. Smith is going to take the snap from the shotgun. And sure enough, he's got some blocking. He's got some time. Under pressure, finally delivers the ball. Almost intercepted by Franklin, but it's an incomplete pass. It was intended for Doobie, number 1, but is overthrown. Franklin comes up defensively with almost an interception. Who's also number 1. It was a one-on-one, literally. Griswold has the ball now in Panther territory at the 40-yard line with 1:43 remaining. There's the turnover turkey, the change of possession turkey. Sean, I hope that's the last time I see that turkey this year.
I know, hopefully. All they have to do is take a kneel down.
I don't want to see the turnover turkey, changeover turkey anymore. He's adorable, but he's got to go home. He's got a big day tomorrow.
He's been pardoned.
1st and 10 Wolverines from the Panther 40-yard line. 1:43 remaining in the game. It's a run to the right-hand side of the ball. It's a handoff to Michael Sims, who pounds his way forward for 5 yards.
Is there something against taking a knee? Because I would.
No, you hand the ball to Sims.
You do? You can't take a knee?
He won't drop it. He won't fumble. Let's see what they're going to take their time, but giving the ball to Sims is a solid, dependable call. It'll take a little bit of time off the clock. He'll get a couple yards every time.
You don't want it to end up like the Giants in that game in the 80s where they had the game won. All they had to do was take a knee, and then they hand it off, and it's fumbled.
2nd and 8.
Got to be
Thibodeau
careful.
in motion. Hand off to Sims. Same play. Wow, he creates his own holes if he doesn't see one. He drives the pile forward alone and picked up about 4 or 5 yards. It's going to bring up 3rd and 2. The ball is spotted, let's see, it's hard to see right now, right around the 32-yard line in Panther territory. I'll tell you what, less than 50 seconds remaining in the game as the Wolverines are taking their time here. This might be the final snap of the season for our seniors. Koziel motioning, Thibodeau in motion. Koziel hands the ball to Michael Sims, who's running the ball forward for a 1st down. That's going to be a 1st down. And, folks, that should be the ball game at this point with 24.8 seconds remaining on the clock. 1st and 10 from the Panther 30-yard line. I think we're going to see a victory formation here as the score is 13-6. The clock is running now, 13 seconds to go. And the Wolverines have come into the press box to maintain possession of the trophy. The LeClaire Trophy. Griswold's going to take a W here on the road as the Wolverines are celebrating. 13-6 is the score here as they get a victory on the road in cold conditions. Valiant 3rd quarter effort by the Panthers is the story of the 2nd half. And by the Panthers, I mean, for the most part, Doobie. Just unbelievable effort there. So we're going to take a quick break and come back with our post-game coverage of our Thanksgiving Eve Classic here. It's the 81st time we've done it. Wolverines walk away with a victory in frigid conditions. We're going to talk about it for a couple of minutes and send you on your way right here on Wolverine Radio. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, Griswold and Plainfield residents. We're here with Wolverine Radio celebrating a Wolverine victory, 81st time we've done this here, folks. Wolverines win tonight 13-6 after an amazing third quarter effort by the Plainfield Panthers, and specifically Lucian Doobie had just some tremendous plays throughout the second half of this game. However, it wasn't enough to stop the Wolverines, who were able to get the ball in the end zone. C.J. Matson provided a big block, allowing Andrew Koziel to connect with Logan Chappelle in the end zone to make the score 13-6, which it then remained through the final seconds of the game. So, Sean, what a great game. What a great night for football. Your thoughts as we wrap up our coverage for tonight?
It was truly a great game. It really was. For both teams, they kept it close. It was competitive all the way through. It was really, really tremendous. Both teams had a hard time moving the football, but the Griswold Wolverines came out on top. Great way to send off some of these seniors. Really, really tremendous night for them.
Big night for your brother. He was able to have a successful extra point attempt in the first quarter of the game. One last kick that went through the uprights.
It was good, too. A lot of height. Love that kid.
Good effort there by the Wolverines.
He's going to be doing some unified sports this year. And this isn't the last that we've seen of some of these players. We're going to see some of these guys again. I think Jack Neves Carr does basketball, so we'll see some of these players again for basketball. Koziel does basketball, but he's not a senior, so we'll see him again. But really great night.
It's always a little bittersweet as we wrap up our coverage of the Wolverines for the year. The first game this year was Bacon Academy, and it's always fun watching the boys grow and develop throughout the season, and they certainly have done that, matured into a fine team, ending the season 6-4, handing a loss to the Panthers, who are now 9-2. They're going to have some playoff opportunities over the next week or so due to their fine efforts throughout the season. However, our boys are 6-4. They've done a great job against some very difficult teams this season. And as always, it has been our privilege to cover every game, home and away, for you right here on Wolverine Radio. So, on behalf of my production crew, Kyle Gunderson with amazing video work tonight, along with the change of possession turkey, which was awesome. My co-host, Sean Anderson, and, of course, our producer and owner, Mike Minarski. This is PJ Pastor Josh signing off for tonight's game. Thank you so much for being a part of our holiday celebration. And Sean Sass in out of the cold. Thank you so much. And, of course, Kevin Thompson, who is celebrating with his family up in New Hampshire. That's been our crew this season. It's been our privilege. Enjoy your holiday today and tomorrow and through the weekend. And we'll see you for continuing coverage of Griswold High School sports throughout the winter right here on Wolverine Radio.